Hello, a very good afternoon to all of you. How are you all feeling? It's good to see you guys all here again. To those of you who have joined us for the first time, a very warm welcome to yet another webinar from Amazing Seniors. And if you want to ask your friends to join us right now, we are putting a link into our chat box. If you can copy that link and WhatsApp all your friends, ask them to join us, the more the merrier, okay? It's a very good feeling here right now in the Amazing Seniors office, because we are looking at about, wow, before we even start the event, 60 participants already. Thank you for joining us, okay? A very, very warm welcome, and we hope that you will really, really enjoy today's session. Got loads of things planned out for you today. Hi, Dr. Priya.
Hi, how are you?
We have a fantastic MC in line for you today, but before we start, we just want to say that today is a very special session. This is the first time ever we are having a bilingual session, whereby we will be speaking in both Malay as well as in English, which is good because that's what we are, right? The Muslim nation, right? So yeah, we'll be starting really soon, so grab yourself a drink, a coffee, or just sit tight and wait, okay?
Start to play, dance with me, make me sway, like the lazy ocean hugs the shore. Hold me close, sway me more, like a flower bending in the breeze. Bend with me, sway with ease. When we dance, you have a way with me. Stay with me, sway with me. Other dancers may be on the floor, dear, but my eyes will see only you. Only you have that magic technique. When we sway, I go weak. I can hear the sound of violins long before it begins. Make me thrill as only you know how. Sway me smooth, sway me now. It's cherry pink and apple blossom white. When your true lover comes your way, it's cherry pink and apple blossom white. The poets say. The story goes that once a cherry tree beside an apple tree did grow, and there a boy once met his bride to be. Long, long ago, the boy looked into her eyes. It was a sight to enthrall. The breeze was joined in their sighs. The blossoms started to fall, and as they gently caressed, the lovers looked up to find the branches of the two trees were intertwined, and that is why the poet's always right. If there's a new moon bright above, it's cherry pink and apple blossom white. When you're in love.
Hi everyone. A good afternoon, selamat tengah hari. Welcome to the Amazing Seniors webinar entitled Dari Pandemic ke Endemic. I am so happy, saya sangat gembira, to see so many of you menyertai kami hari ini. Kami sangat terharu dengan kehadiran speaker-speaker yang dihormati, Dr. Priya Ragunath dan Dr. Wan Fazihan, who will be joining us today. Dr. Priya will be defining apa artinya kepada kita bila COVID-19 menjadi endemik dan kesannya kepada kita. This will then be followed by Dr. Wan Fazihan, who will be sharing kepakaran beliau tentang apakah fasa endemik dan langkah-langkah yang kita perlu ambil, ya. So at the end of the session, we are going to randomly pick, iaitu pilih ya secara rawak 32 pemenang bertuah untuk hadiah eksklusif kami yang bernilai 3,500 ya, 3,500. In order to win, you need to fill out your name and contact details in the lucky draw registration form. And there will be banyak hadiah-hadiah menarik ya untuk dimenangi. The registration link, link pendaftaran akan disiarkan dalam chat box sebelum tamat webinar ini. So please make sure you look out for that. And kalau you face any problems, bolehlah WhatsApp kepada talian hotline kita 017-2019-746. Okay, we will revisit this at the end. Okay, so good luck everyone. Okay, lagi satu ya, bagi anda yang baru mengetahui tentang kami, Amazing Seniors is a platform yang telah dicipta to provide senior citizens the best perkhidmatan seperti tawaran terbaik, maklumat pekerjaan dan berbagai lagi. Okay, now let's give a warm welcome to the founders of Amazing Seniors, Ms. Jasmine Amirul and Ms. Penny Low.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. Good to see all of you here again. And this is my Amazing Seniors partner, Jasmine.
Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Welcome to our webinar today. Amazing Seniors ni adalah sebuah platform sarankan adults age 50 and above. Dalam platform Amazing Seniors, kami sediakan banyak benda seperti deals and discounts, especially for seniors. Kami juga ada events macam webinar ini dan banyak lagi events yang akan datang. We also have news and articles that are relevant for older baca-baca dalam site kami. So you can visit our site at www.amazingseniors.my and start exploring. So sekarang please allow me to share a very short video tentang Amazing Seniors. Terima kasih. Yeah, so remember to check us out at www.amazingseniors.my. Okay, so a quick word from our sponsors. Sesi ini dibawa khas kepada para pesara oleh aplikasi mudah alih My Pesara oleh KUAP dengan kerjasama KPJ Ambulatory Care Center dan juga Rela. Pause to play again. Sorry guys, I seem to be having some problems with the video.
So let's give it a few moments. Rancangan tergendala sedikit.
Sebagai pesara era baharu, kemudahan adalah segala-galanya dalam melayari hari persaraan. Semangat untuk terus menikmati hidup tidak perlu berakhir di sini. Sebaliknya, ia harus menjadi lebih bermakna dan memberi lebih ketenteraman. Kini, anda tidak perlu lagi menunggu dalam barisan yang panjang. Nikmati kemudahan yang sedia ada kerana semuanya ada di hujung jari. Melalui kemudahan peringatan waktu solat My Pesara dan juga fungsi pemantauan kesihatan yang disediakan. Lindungi diri anda dari sebarang risiko, dari aspek fizikal dan juga rohani. Situasi kini mungkin lebih mencabar, namun peluang dan ruang untuk anda berkembang adalah sangat luas. Lebih-lebih lagi untuk pesara seperti anda yang ingin mendalami ilmu bermanfaat. Kini membolehkan anda untuk menjana pendapatan mengikut tahap kesesuaian dan rentak yang anda pilih. My Pesara meningkatkan kualiti persaraan.
Okey, so anda boleh buat turun aplikasi My Sejahtera pula, sorry. My Pesara dari Google Play Store untuk Android ataupun Apple App Store. So let me hand back to Ken to introduce our next speaker. Over to you, Ken.
Yes, thank you Penny and Jasmine. Now, without further ado, izinkan saya memperkenalkan our first speaker, okay, Dr. Priya Ragunath. Dr. Priya ialah Ketua Sektor Kesihatan Pekerjaan dan Alam Sekitar Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia KKM. Beliau juga ialah Fellow Fakulti Perubatan Pekerjaan College Perubatan di Raja Ireland dan Doktor Pekerjaan Kesihatan Awam. We are privileged and look forward to have you speak with us this afternoon. Amazing seniors, para pesara sekalian, berpeluang untuk bertanya soalan di penghujung sesi ini, Q&A. So you can just menaik soalan anda di chat box. Now, for our English-speaking audience, you are not left out. Okay, Penny will be translating what Dr. Priya will be sharing in English. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Priya. Selamat datang, Dr. Priya.
Salam sejahtera. Thank you very much, Catherine.
Apa khabar? How are you this afternoon? Yeah, baik.
How are you all?
We are good.
Hi, Dr. Priya. It's good to have you back with us again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, thanks. And I hope everyone's also feeling great.
Yeah, they're all waiting to hear you speak, okay? But anyway, before we go on, I believe that you are quite a bilingual speaker yourself. So I'm just here to to reiterate certain points that you have made. Yeah, but please go ahead with what you have planned for us today. But before we go into that, here's a message to all of you out there. If you have questions to ask Dr. Priya, please type into the chat box, and at the end of the session, I'll be presenting it to Dr. Priya. All your questions, okay? All right, so the chat box is just at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the word chat. Click into it and type in there. All right, Priya, over to you, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you very much. So once again, salam sejahtera dan selamat tengah hari saya ucapkan kepada semua. Thank you very much to the amazing seniors, Penny, Jasmine, Catherine. I think you all are doing amazing work. Tahniah kepada amazing seniors. It's a very good job you all are doing. So if I may just share my screen, mungkin saya akan mulakan pembentangan saya. Okay, do you see it?
Yeah,
okay, fine. So thank you very much. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, pada hari ini saya berpeluang untuk memberi sedikit maklumat kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mengenai peralihan dari pandemik ke endemik dan kesan terhadap warga emas. So we are all aware of this transition period. So sebagai pengenalan mungkin saya boleh memaklumkan bahawa pandemik COVID-19 telah membawa impak negatif terhadap kehidupan orang ramai. Semua orang orang telah terjejas daripada pandemik ini yang telah menyebabkan sama ada penyakit yang serius, kehilangan nyawa, kehilangan pendapatan dan juga ada yang membawa maut iaitu kematian.
So as we all know, the COVID pandemic has brought us a negative impact, and has affected most of our lives, from the angle of it as an illness, loss of lives, loss of income, as well as death.
Yes. Dan rakyat terpaksa belajar hidup dengan amalan norma baru. We are aware of these new norms yang terpaksa kita ikuti. Dan oleh itu, vaksinasi telah dilaksanakan bagi membantu rakyat Malaysia menuju ke arah endemik.
So the process of vaccination has already been launched, as we all know it, and it's actually to ease us and to aid us and to help us into this new phase, the endemic phase.
Okay, so mungkin semua orang telah maklum tentang cerita COVID or our Malaysian COVID story and the COVID story for the world. So sebenarnya pada penghujung tahun 2019, satu outbreak ataupun kejadian COVID-19, pada masa itu kita hanya mengetahuinya sebagai virus SARS-CoV-2, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, telah berlaku di negara China. That was actually the beginning of COVID, di mana setelah itu, pada 30 Januari 2020, kejadian ini telah digelar sebagai Public Health Event of International Concern oleh Persatuan Kesihatan Sedunia or WHO. They had declared it as a Public Health Event of International Concern. Dan seterusnya pada bulan 3, bulan Mac 2020, deklarasi pandemik global iaitu pandemik seluruh dunia telah pun dilakukan oleh Persatuan Kesihatan Sedunia WHO.
So, let's take a little historical look at it. In the year 2020, the virus was known as SARS-CoV-2, and it was the public health event of international concern. And because of that, it was declared as a pandemic by the WHO, the World Health Organization.
Thank you. So mungkin sedikit pengenalan kepada apa sebenarnya peralihan ke pandemik. So untuk kita memahami peralihan ke pandemik, kami perlu memahami juga istilah-istilah yang berkenaan. So pertama sekali adalah outbreak. Apakah outbreak, apakah epidemik dan apakah pandemik? So outbreak adalah sebenarnya kejadian di kalangan 2 orang atau lebih. So this is what outbreak is. Dan kejadian itu bolehlah berlaku di mana-mana lokasi, mana-mana tempat, sesuatu tempat kerja, sesuatu daerah, sesuatu kampung dan sebagainya. Dan istilah itu adalah apa yang kita kata outbreak.
So perhaps the best way for me to translate this is to ask you the question in English right now. So could you explain the outbreak again?
So then shall I just do this in bilingual?
Yeah. I think
all right.
Okay.
So an outbreak is actually what you see as an occurrence of, say, a case infection or an occurrence in 2 or more people in a country. It can be in any location, any workplace, any district. So if it's just 2 or more people, then that incident is called as an outbreak. And you usually get small outbreaks anywhere in any country, any place. But that's just an outbreak.
Okay.
So from that, kita beralih kepada epidemic. So apakah maksudnya epidemic? Epidemic bermaksudnya kejadian yang lebih meluas. Mungkin melibatkan satu negeri, mungkin melibatkan beberapa negeri. So in this case, an epidemic is when this outbreak becomes extensive. It spreads. Maybe there are many outbreaks, or there's outbreaks extending from different districts to many districts to various states. And so when it becomes a larger scale in a country, this is what we call an epidemic. Yes. Okay. Dan seterusnya kita beralih ke satu yang lebih besar lagi. So apabila epidemik ini menjadi besar, mungkin melibatkan pelbagai negara, dan di sini banyak negara, mungkin almost seluruh negara, seluruh dunia in fact, barulah kita akan menggunakan istilah pandemik, iaitu ia melibatkan negara-negara antarabangsa dan boleh dikatakan di luar kawalan. So a pandemic involves many countries being affected by these epidemics. It stretches out to, in this case, almost all the countries of the world.
So it's an international, an international state now?
Yes, international state, and very much out of control.
Out of control.
Can't control. Okay. So that's what we mean by a pandemic.
Okay.
Okay. So mungkin saya ingin memberi penjelasan sedikit tentang phases or fasa-fasa pandemik ini. So pada masa biasa, normally kita berada dalam interpandemic phase. So we are normally in an interpandemic phase, di mana kami selalu akan membuat penilaian risiko. We usually carry out a risk assessment at all periods of time. So pada masa kami berada di interpandemic phase, kami akan berada dalam keadaan yang we won't say menunggu, but we are always looking out. Sama ada kes berlaku, ada kejadian berlaku, adakah outbreak berlaku. So I'll just translate these because these are the technical slides to make it easier for you, Penny.
Thank you.
So what happens is we are always on alert. Kita akan berada dalam keadaan yang apa kita kata, apabila sesuatu kes berlaku, kami bersedia untuk memberi respons. So we are alert, and when the cases start becoming more, that's when we go into an alert phase. Contohnya pada awal tahun 2020, kes pada mulanya kami telah menghadapi gelombang pertama. Gelombang pertama tidak melibatkan warga negara Malaysia. So our first wave didn't involve Malaysians. We had a first wave of foreigners. They were actually tourists coming to Malaysia. Walau bagaimanapun, pada gelombang kedua melibatkan warga negara Malaysia. So the second wave that we had in Malaysia involved the citizens of Malaysia. And that is when, it started becoming an alert phase because it's already in the community. We're looking at community transmission, and that occurred very early on. So seterusnya kami beralih pula kepada pandemic phase. So dalam pandemic phase, seluruh dunia atau negara-negara yang terlibat terpaksa memberi respons yang sewajarnya untuk menangani pandemik. So the whole world then needs to give a response in order for us to manage this pandemic, because remember, it's involving many countries. So that's when you are at a phase of pandemic, whether you're at the peak of pandemic or whether you're coming down. Now don't forget, because it involves many countries, it's very hard to really judge worldwide when you're at the peak or not. Ya, so apa yang saya maksudkan tadi adalah sama ada kami berada di keadaan fasa di mana kita telah mencapai peak ataupun tahap maksima pandemik tersebut. Memandangkan banyak negara terlibat adalah suka untuk kita kata memang kami berada dalam peak. Walau bagaimanapun, pada masa Delta variant, memang kami mendapati kebanyakan negara pun mempunyai bilangan kes yang berlebihan atau banyak. So we said that in the Delta phase, when we had the Delta variant, we had many cases, so we can somehow consider that a peak. So pada masa ini kami di Malaysia menganggap bahawa kes semakin menurun dan keadaan adalah boleh dikatakan di bawah kawalan. So in Malaysia now, we are actually in a phase that is more under control, and so we are entering into what we call fasa peralihan ataupun fasa transisi. So that's what we call this transition phase. So pada masa ini kami berada di fasa peralihan ke endemik, or we are in the transition to endemicity, tapi belum lagi sampai endemik. Itu yang sangat penting, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Kami adalah berada dalam fasa peralihan ke endemik dan bukan berada dalam fasa endemik. We're not in the endemic phase, but we are in the transition phase to endemic. So this is a sort of an overview of the scenario of what is happening and where we are now.
Okay.
So apa yang dimaksudkan endemic? So everybody lah, semua orang kata endemic. Apa tu endemic? Ya? So endemic merujuk kepada kejadian penyakit yang sentiasa wujud dalam masyarakat atau sesuatu tempat tetapi pada kadar yang stabil. Maksudnya virus masih wujud tetapi merebak pada tahap yang lebih rendah. Kemungkinan juga berlaku peningkatan penularan yang bermusim dan wabak masih boleh berlaku.
So we are talking about an endemic phase, right? So
yes,
where the virus is still in existence.
That's right.
And it probably spreads, but at a lower, it's not so well spread out lah. Okay.
Yes.
And it could also be seasonal, right?
Correct.
The fluctuation of how the spread and all. And but we must always be aware that infection can still happen.
Yes.
Right.
And contoh endemik adalah dengue. If I can give you an example of
dengue.
dengue.
Yes.
See, dengue berada dalam negara pada tahap yang rendah dan ada kejadian yang berlaku. So, you get occurrences of dengue anytime in the year, but it is prevalent in the country, but it's not something that's happening every day and all the time.
Okay.
So, itu adalah contoh.
So that's the endemic phase, yeah?
That's right.
Okay.
So mungkin saya boleh memberi sedikit penerangan tentang variant. So there's a lot of talk, a lot of fuss, a lot of understanding and misunderstanding about variants too.
Yeah.
So apa sebenarnya variant? So variant sebenarnya adalah boleh dikatakan jenis-jenis virus yang kita mendapati pelbagai jenis virus. I'm putting that in simple terms on the types of viruses or the types of variants that you see in a particular virus. So mungkin tuan-tuan dan puan-puan memang sudah maklum bahawa SARS-CoV-2 virus ini adalah sejenis coronavirus, dan coronavirus adalah juga virus yang menyebabkan SARS pada masa dahulu 2003 dan juga MERS-CoV pada tahun 2014. Walau bagaimanapun, SARS-CoV yang menyebabkan COVID-19 adalah berbeza dalam jenisnya daripada jenis coronavirus yang telah menyebabkan SARS 2003 dan juga MERS-CoV. So maybe if I can just explain. So it is a different variant in the sense that it's a coronavirus. We are aware that coronavirus caused SARS in 2003. It's a type of coronavirus also caused MERS-CoV in 2014. But at the end of the day, what we have here, although it's a coronavirus, it's once again a different virus. And that is why you call it a novel virus. It is a new virus. Although it's from the Coronaviridae family, it's a new virus. So kita panggil dia virus novel ataupun virus baru. So bila kita kata variant SARS-CoV-2 ini, sebenarnya WHO ataupun Persatuan Kesihatan Sedunia telah memberi beberapa istilah. So the istilah yang pertama adalah variant of interest. So variant of interest adalah satu variant ataupun virus yang mempunyai perubahan-perubahan genetik di mana ia boleh menyebabkan transmisi di kalangan penduduk, di kalangan komuniti, menyebabkan case, menyebabkan cluster. So these variants of interest actually are genetic changes of this virus that can actually cause community transmission, can cause clusters. And so it is a variant of interest. You're not really taking action, but you're observing. Okay, so pada masa ada variant of interest, kita tidak ambil tindakan, kita akan memerhatikan apa berlaku daripada variant ini.
So it's a variant of interest, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you get the next classification which you call as variant of concern. So klasifikasi seterusnya adalah variant of concern. So variant of concern merupakan variant of interest yang telah menyebabkan di peringkat antarabangsa dan dunia peningkatan dalam keberjangkitan. Peningkatan dalam virulence, that means katalah disease ataupun penyakit yang menjadi lebih teruk, dan juga kekurangan dalam apa kita kata effectiveness dari atau tindakan-tindakan kesihatan awam kita. So what it does is, once it is a variant of interest that actually increases the transmittability, there's an increase in its virulence, it causes a more severe disease, it decreases the effectiveness of our public health and social measures, then this is termed as a variant of concern. And therefore, WHO actually came out with a list of variants of concern. So a variant of concern ini ditetapkan oleh WHO. Dan WHO telah mengeluarkan satu senarai variant of concern. So kalau kita sebenarnya tengok senarai variant of concern ini daripada permulaan hingga sekarang, senarai ini adalah sangat panjang. We actually have a very long list of variants of concern, variants of interest and so on. Tetapi the important thing, or the variants of concern that are of note, are as these few you can see on the slide that I've put up here. So variant of concern yang penting are what I've put up here. Sebenarnya di Malaysia sebelum ini dah ada dah. We had what did we have? Pada mulanya we had Italian strain, European strain, China strain, seterusnya D614. So there are many strains in Malaysia. We had Italian, we had China, we had European strain, we had the D614. Subsequently we had other strains. So maksudnya selepas itu kita ada strain alpha, beta, gamma, delta dan omicron. Sebenarnya di Malaysia alpha, beta, delta dan omicron. In Malaysia we had alpha, beta, delta and omicron. Dan daripada varian-varian ini sebenarnya delta adalah varian yang kebanyakan penduduk Malaysia mengidap delta pada gelombang kedua yang menyebabkan penyakit yang lebih serius. Tetapi pada masa ini ia lebih kepada variant Omicron. So we actually faced Delta in the second wave and most of our cases were Delta. But now, since the end of 2021 till now, the most prevalent case is actually, our most prevalent variant is actually the Omicron.
Okay. But Omicron, although it spreads easily, it's a little bit
Less serious.
less than
Exactly,
less serious.
absolutely.
Okay.
So, apa yang diketahui mengenai VOC Omicron ini? So VOC Omicron ini mengandungi mutasi pada spike protein. So it has spike protein mutations. So spike protein mutations are what causes the infectivity and what causes it to behave the way it does. So mutasi spike protein ini akan menyebabkan perubahan-perubahan dalam cara virus ini akan bertindak dalam badan seseorang. Untuk contoh, if I were to give you an example, the mutation in like beta and gamma are like 2 and 3. Mutasi dalam beta dan gamma adalah seperti 2 atau 3. Walau bagaimanapun untuk Omicron, mutasi spike protein adalah 26 hingga 32 mutasi. So they have 26 to 32 mutations on a Omicron virus. So that's why it's very, very different. So kalau kita tengok kepada apa perbezaannya ataupun mutasi, ia dikaitkan sebenarnya dengan S-gene target failure. That means dalam tes PCR, peningkatan kebolehjangkitan, peningkatan kebolehan virus untuk melekat pada sel dan pengurangan respons antibody. So it actually goes to S-gene target failure. It increases the transmissibility, it increases the ability of the virus to actually attach itself to the body cells. And also it reduces the antibody response. So this is how Omicron actually is, and it reacts to the body.
So that's what also makes it the more spreadable one lah, in a sense lah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the failure to the PCR testing is also due to this. So that's why PCR couldn't even pick it up to a certain extent.
Yes, but that's not a major issue. But yes, some of it is contributed by Omicron. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So kalau saya boleh menunjukkan sedikit statistik kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, ini adalah statistik di Malaysia. So kalau kita tengok daripada September 2020 sehinggalah maybe February 2021 and on to May, kebanyakan jangkitan adalah oleh B.1.524. Manakala daripada Februari sehinggalah ke Jun 2021 kita mendapati varian Alpha yang sebenarnya menjangkiti warga negara Malaysia, dan seterusnya daripada actually early of March 2021 sehinggalah Ogos 2021 kebanyakan adalah varian Beta yang menjangkiti warga negara Malaysia. Seterusnya Delta daripada Julai 2021 sehinggalah sebenarnya somewhere around November 2021 di mana Omicron mula muncul di Malaysia pada November 2021 dan menjangkiti warga Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically it's B.1.524 until about May, and then we were followed by Alpha, and then we were afflicted by Beta, and then by Delta, and finally Omicron as of the end of 2021.
Okay.
If I may just elucidate further, mungkin sedikit lebih penerangan berkenaan ini adalah kalau kita tengok kepada jumlah dan peratusan kes varian Delta dan Omicron, kita mendapati bahawa pada bulan Januari kebanyakan kes adalah kes Delta. You can see daripada varian Delta. Walau bagaimanapun ada juga kes Omicron. Now Omicron mempunyai subvariant macam anak-anak variant lah, you could say, ya. And anak-anak variant ni ada banyak, BA.1, BA1.1, BA.2. Pada masa itu kami hanya telah mengenal pasti ketiga subvariant ataupun anak variant ini. So they actually have subvariants. So Omicron has subvariants such as BA.1, BA.1.1, BA.1.2. At the time this graph was actually developed, there were only 3 subvariants from Omicron that we knew of. So this study actually depicts the the movement from Delta to Omicron, and it's divided by the subvariants. So kita boleh memahami bahawa Omicron bukan saja Omicron yang menjangkiti warga negara Malaysia, tetapi kita mendapati pelbagai anak varian lah, or you could say the subvariant ini telah menjangkiti warga negara Malaysia, dan memang ada kepentingan dalam subvariant ini. Why we are talking about subvariants? So, but just to explain it first, kita nampak bahawa bulan Februari adalah peningkatan di dalam ada peningkatan dalam varian Omicron, subvarian, ketiga-tiga subvarian lah, I'm taking it together, BA1, 1.1 dan 2. Dan pada bulan Mac, kita boleh nampak bahawa virus yang sebenarnya menyebabkan COVID di Malaysia adalah daripada Omicron, di mana ialah kebanyakan dalam subvarian BA1.1 dan BA.2. So what I just said was that from January to February, you can see that there were more cases of Omicron. We can see the division between the subvariants, and subsequently by March, it was mostly cases caused by Omicron, again with subvariant BA1, 1.1 and 1.2. And you can see that mostly it's 1.1 and 1.2. So BA2. So BA2 had risen quite drastically by March. Okay, so peningkatan kes disebabkan oleh BA.1.1 dan BA.2 memang nampak ketara pada bulan Mac, di mana BA.2 mula meningkat sebagai virus yang menyebabkan COVID-19. And this is quite important for us to know it, because kebanyakan kes daripada subvarian BA2 ni mempunyai, I won't say kebanyakan kes, tapi kebanyakan kes serius yang kita mendapati adalah lebih disebabkan oleh varian BA.2 ini. So most of the cases that we actually experience severity, we found were linked back to the subvariant BA.2.
But these are the subvariants,
yes, of Omicron itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I come to the next question. Mutasi virus. So ada banyak cerita yang telah disebarkan dan ditularkan. Flurona, Delmicron, Deltacron. So apa sebenarnya flurona? Flurona merujuk kepada jangkitan oleh dua virus, iaitu influenza dan coronavirus pada masa yang sama. Apa kita kata co-infection. It is a co-infection of two viruses, influenza and coronavirus. Manakala Delmicron atau Deltacron pula sepatutnya merupakan kombinasi Delta dengan Omicron, tetapi pada masa tu this Delmicron atau Deltacron tidak ada bukti sebenarnya ini adalah satu virus baru atau strain baru. It was actually thought to be kontaminasi di makmal. They thought that Delmicron or Deltacron, which was supposed to be a combination of Delta and Omicron, was actually more due to a contamination at the lab and not really a true virus causing COVID per se. However, saya membawa tuan-tuan dan puan-puan kepada variant of concern pada masa kini. So let's talk about now. What are the variants of concern now? So pada masa ini, Delta masih ada. Kita tak kata Delta langsung tidak ada di seluruh dunia. Walau bagaimanapun, Omicron merupakan virus yang paling menjangkiti kebanyakan negara. And if you look at Omicron, ada banyak subvariant sekarang. BA.1, .2, .3, .4, .5 dan dia punya lineages, the descendant lineages. Dan terdapat juga satu kombinasi BA.1 dan BA.2 iaitu dipanggil sebagai XE. So the explanation here is that yes, Omicron has many subvariants now, from BA1, 2, 3 to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Currently, we know a lot about BA.1 and .2. 3, 4, 5 hasn't given us trouble yet. So, but of course, we are observing, or WHO is also observing, and their descendant lineages, because they had something called the PANGO classification of lineage. Ada klasifikasi PANGO di mana ada senarai lineage tersebut dan ada pelbagai lineage dalam klasifikasi tersebut. And what I mentioned about BA1, BA2 is actually a recombinant form now called the XE. You would have heard of others, XD, XF, but the important one here is the XE. And majority of the cases in the UK actually are due to XE. Pada masa inilah, kebanyakan kes di negara UK, Great Britain adalah disebabkan oleh this recombinant form of XE.
So between these two, Delta and Omicron is now coming across as the more prevalent one now.
it is more prevalent, so it spreads fast, as I said, which I'll be showing you some other info on that. But however, it does not cause such a severe disease. So it may be a good thing. So maybe I can share with you all a little bit about the cases, taburan cumulative case sembuh dan kematian. I'm sorry, I think my slides got pushed, but never mind. So if we look at the cases, case sembuh dan kematian COVID-19 di Malaysia, just kalau saya boleh share sedikit statistik. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan nampak kepada warna jingga, or you can see the orange bars. So bar warna jingga merupakan kes, bilangan-bilangan kes ataupun trend case yang kita perhatikan naik dalam gelombang 2. You can see in the early part of 2020, seterusnya turun apabila early part of 2021 dan turun dalam 2021, dan you can see that pada minggu pertama 2022 kes memang adalah pada tahap yang rendah, tetapi semakin naik dan semula, dan pada minggu epic week, call it epic weeks, we talk in epidemiological weeks, pada minggu 9 dan 10 itu merupakan tahap yang paling tinggi kes COVID-19 di Malaysia, dan akhir sekali trend masih menurun sehinggalah minggu ke-16 iaitu sekarang. So we actually talk in terms of epic weeks, and you can see the trend of the cases. So the orange bars show you that last year there was a peak and then it reduced subsequently. And early part of this year we were still having a low number of cases, which rose again. There was another peak again up to week 10. The early part of this year, and it's down now. We are on a decreasing trend now when we reach week 16. We are in week 16 now. So these two peaks actually are related. You can say it's a Delta peak, and the second peak is more of a Omicron peak. So the peak pertama adalah disebabkan oleh Delta, dan kita nampak peak kedua tu adalah disebabkan oleh virus Omicron. So kalau kita juga tengok kepada garisan hijau, so the green line talks about the cases that were recovered, and you can see that the recovery during Delta, kalau kita tengok kes-kes berwarna hijau atau garisan hijau, you can see that recovery-nya adalah sedikit kurang berbanding dengan recovery untuk peak Omicron. You can see that the recovery is much higher. Right, so that's an important thing to note when we want to talk about fasa peralihan. Bila kita kata kita menuju ke fasa peralihan, kita perlu mengetahui dan memahami bahawa kes-kes Omicron sembuh dengan lebih baik berbanding dengan kes-kes Delta. And kalau kita boleh tengok juga kepada kematian, iaitu garis-garisan merah, kita nampak bahawa kematian adalah agak tinggi. Of course, this is we're talking about kematian yang berkenaan. Dan kalau kita tengok peak pertama itu adalah pada masa varian Delta. Dan kalau kita tengok peak kedua pula, kematian adalah sangat kurang dalam what I said varian Omicron pada masa ini. You can see that it's a lower peak. Peak dia adalah lebih rendah. Maksudnya kurang kematian disebabkan oleh Omicron berbanding dengan Delta. So what I actually mentioned was that the peak of deaths was very much higher, or the death rate was very much higher actually when we were in the Delta phase in Malaysia as compared to the Omicron phase. You can very clearly see that the death rate is very much lower. So that means much less deaths caused by Omicron. So these are important points.
That's very good news, isn't it? I mean,
yes. Yeah. So the reason why I'm telling you this is to explain to you why we are going to this fasa peralihan. It's important to understand.
Okay.
So WHO mempunyai satu strategi, and of course satu strategi penting dalam menangani COVID adalah melalui vaksinasi. Right? That is the way we try to manage COVID is through vaccination. And strategi WHO untuk mencapai vaksinasi COVID-19 sedunia dalam pertengahan 2022 telah pun dikeluarkan, dan semua negara diharapkan dapat mengikuti strategi ini supaya kita boleh mencapai apa kita kata global COVID-19 vaccination by mid-2020. So it's heading towards vaccination at a global level by mid-2020.
That makes the world a safer place for all of us, doesn't it?
Yes, that's what we hope so. So if I may just share a bit on that strategy. So sasaran kesihatan dan sosioekonomik yang dijadikan sebagai pemandu strategi vaksinasi tersebut adalah step pertama warga tua, warga emas dan penduduk-penduduk berisiko tinggi perlu diberi vaksinasi. Dan dengan ini kita mengurangkan kejangkitan, kurang kejadian mortality, kematian dan juga morbidity. Step kedua pula adalah untuk semua dewasa, di mana dewasa perlu kembali bekerja. Dan step ketiga pula adalah di kalangan remaja, sebab apa strateginya adalah untuk mengurangkan transmisi pada masa depan di kalangan remaja. So these strategies, step 1, 2, 3. Step 1 is in the elderly. So what you do is you reduce the mortality, reduce the morbidity of the disease, and in the elderly and the high-risk populations. Step 2 will be adults, because you resume most of the socio-economic activities. So you need the adults to be vaccinated. And lastly, the adolescents, because they are the next generation, that's the future of transmission. And this is the road to recovery. So ini adalah strategi kepada kami sembuh ataupun keluar daripada pandemik ini. Dan strategi ini telah pun diamalkan di kebanyakan negara. So that is why people ask, why adults first? Why older adults? Why high risk? Why adults? So this is the strategy that was actually used and employed.
So this is what is driving us towards a whole, towards the endemic stage lah.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
So let's look at kadar vaksinasi. Apa kadar vaksinasi di Malaysia pada 21 hari bulan April? Kita mendapati apa yang penting adalah almost 81% daripada populasi Malaysia telah pun mendapat vaksinasi primer ataupun 2 dos vaksinasi. So almost 81%, 80.9% or 81% of the population, total population, has got their primary dosage of 2 doses. Manakala 49%, that means hampir 50% populasi telah pun mendapat dos penggalak. And 49%, almost half or 50% have already got their booster. So that's a very, very important point in us knowing, because in epidemiology, we try to get herd immunity by vaccinating 80% of the population. Ya. Dalam kita punya kesihatan awam dan epidemiologi, adalah tanggapan bahawa jika 80% daripada populasi mendapat vaksinasi, dan ini memberi perlindungan herd immunity kepada keseluruhan rakyat. So that's a concept. Itu adalah konsep epidemiologi. So sekurang-kurangnya kami telah mencapai 80.9%. So that's something very good. We've already achieved at least that. Yeah. And seterusnya, what I've shown there is just the vaccines that were taken up to now. 60% mengambil vaksin Pfizer, 30% Sinovac, 8% AstraZeneca dan 0.3% telah menggunakan atau mengambil vaksin CanSino. So ini cuma untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan ya.
So we're heading towards a very good 80% vaccination status.
Yes.
In our nation.
Yes.
Oh, that's looking so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we can actually move on. So we need people to understand that. So maybe graph ini nampak technical, tetapi ia adalah cuma untuk semua orang memahami kepentingan mendapat vaksinasi. Ya? It's important to understand why and the importance of getting vaccination. So ini menunjukkan antibody lah, apa kita panggil neutralizing antibody response ataupun response antibody badan kepada vaksinasi. So kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perhatikan, just look very basically at what's written there, prime, before booster, after booster. So bagi primary dose, sesiapa yang telah menerima dos primer, maksudnya 2 dos, dan kalau Janssen 1 dos, kita dapati bahawa tahap neutralizing antibody berada pada tahap yang mungkin tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perhatikan. I won't go into the numbers, it's not important.
Okay.
Tapi apa yang penting, kita nampak bahawa kita beralih kepada sebelum booster. That means after some time before the booster, tahap vaksinasi, tahap antibody adalah pada tahap tersebut. Yes, you can see that the titers are there. Walau bagaimanapun, it's important kita berbandingkan dengan the third part that I'm showing you. Tengoklah selepas booster. So selepas booster, tahap neutralizing antibody telah naik. And kita telah membuat kajian ini telah dilakukan dengan mengambil kira subvariant. So you can see that in BA2, BA1 dengan BA2 tahapnya juga naik. Dan ini adalah penting untuk kami sebab di Malaysia pada masa ini kebanyakan kes adalah oleh BA2. So we want to make sure that semua orang ataupun rakyat adalah dilindung dengan menggunakan vaksinasi kita telah melindungi rakyat. You see, so we are protecting people by this additional booster. So there was a lot of query why the booster. So this actually explains it all. If you look at the reaction, the neutralizing antibody reaction with these three strains, the WA, the BA1 and BA2, it's at a certain level when the primary booster is taken. When the primary dose is taken. But after the booster, it has significantly risen. And that is what is very, very important. And this is why we advocate the booster very much. You know, it's not like a lot of politicization was made on that oh, this booster is just an additional dose, money making, and it will cause, symptoms. Tapi tak, it is not about that. It's about following the science. Kami ada bukti sains kenapa kita memerlukan booster tersebut.
So at the end of the day, it's all about the neutralizing of the antibody response, right? So
it's called a neutralizing antibody, Penny. Yeah.
A neutralizing antibody, yeah.
So that's what it's about. We want people to have a sufficient neutralizing antibody response in the body. So kalau saya boleh beranjak pula kepada status vaksinasi, I'm sure many of you have seen this. So ini adalah apa yang kita kata vaksin lengkap. We talked about whether you're fully vaccinated or not. So kalau kita contohnya untuk vaksin Sinovac, Sinopharm, untuk kebanyakan orang jika mendapat 2 dos sahaja, kita anggap semua orang sebagai belum lengkap vaksin. Tetapi untuk Sinovac dan Sinopharm, jika telah mendapat 3 dos, maksudnya dos penggalak telah diambil, dan barulah kita anggap semua orang yang telah mengambil vaksin tersebut sebagai fully vaccinated. Right, so for Sinovac and Sinopharm, the 2 doses are insufficient. You'll be considered partially vaccinated. Once you take 3 doses, only then will you be considered fully vaccinated. Manakala untuk Pfizer, Moderna, AZ, Covaxin, Covishield, Novavax, and Sputnik, bagi dewasa 18 hingga 59 tahun, 2 dos adalah memadai. Mereka dianggap fully vaccinated ataupun telah mendapat vaksin lengkap. Walau bagaimanapun bagi warga emas, very, very important, 60 tahun ke atas, 2 dos hanya dianggap sebagai belum lengkap vaksinasi. Okay? So, this is for all those vaccinations. Tetapi jika mendapat dos penggalak or the 3rd dose, bagi dewasa, kita anggap mereka sebagai boosted. Tetapi bagi warga emas 60 tahun ke atas, dos ketiga merupakan part of dos primer. Maksudnya mereka hanya dianggap sebagai telah menerima vaksin lengkap apabila telah menerima dos ketiga tersebut. Ia bukan sebagai dos penggalak tapi lebih kepada melengkapkan vaksinasi. So for Pfizer to Sputnik, the list that you see, for those who've had 2 doses, only the adults are considered fully vaccinated. The elderly, the 60 years and above, are still considered partially vaccinated until they get the 3rd dose. So the 3rd dose in an adult may be considered as a booster, but in 60 years and above, it's considered as fully vaccinated. And lastly, untuk CanSino, Janssen dan Sputnik Light, ini adalah vaksin jenis 1 dos. So, bagi dewasa, 1 dos itu merupakan fully vaccinated ataupun vaksin lengkap. Manakala bagi 60 tahun ke atas, ia hanya merupakan tidak lengkap vaksin. Dan di sini, sama dengan tadi juga, bila mendapat dos seterusnya, bagi dewasa, ia dianggap sebagai dos penggalak. Tetapi bagi 60 tahun ke atas, setelah mendapat 2 dos, barulah mereka dianggap fully vaccinated ataupun telah menerima dos lengkap. So this is very important to note for these vaccines, the CanSino, Janssen and Sputnik. You're fully vaccinated for 1 dose if you're an adult, and the 2nd dose just becomes a booster. But for 60 years and above, 1 dose only entitles you to a partial vaccination status, but 2 doses is required for fully vaccinated. So semua ini juga adalah berdasarkan kajian, di mana golongan yang berisiko tinggi adalah warga emas. And that is why, because the science and the studies have shown us that the elderly are the high-risk people and they are the ones who need additional protection. And it is because of that these additional doses have been introduced as part of their primary vaccination schedule.
Okay, so for those of you needing this slide, I will make it accessible for all of you on our Facebook page so that you can refer to as well.
Okay, and this is just apa kita kata cadangan-cadangan dos penggalak yang boleh diambil, or what we say the recommendations of what booster you can take. So bagi yang telah mendapat jenis-jenis vaksin Pfizer, AZ, Sinovac dan sebagainya, saranan telah diberi untuk jenis dos penggalak yang perlu diambil. So what we have here is a list of these suggested vaccines that may be taken as the booster dose. For example, in a Pfizer, you can also take a booster of Pfizer, or you can also take AZ, and so on and so forth. So I think Penny will put up all this in your Facebook as a reference point.
Yes,
But what is Yes, thanks. And what is important to remember, apa yang perlu diingati adalah bahawa booster boleh diambil sekurang-kurangnya 3 bulan selepas dos kedua bagi vaksin primer, ataupun sekurang-kurangnya 2 bulan untuk jenis vaksin primer yang merupakan 1 dos. So for those who took a 2-dose primary vaccination, you need to wait at least 3 months before you take your booster. But for those who took a single dose vaccine, it's at least 2 months. This is a little bit different from what was practiced earlier. So once again, you can refer to this, and this can be your guide, right, on taking the booster dose.
Okay.
All right. So, as you all know, warga emas yang berisiko tinggi layak mendapatkan dos penggalak kedua. Kenapa? Kenapa warga emas layak? Sebab mereka merupakan golongan berisiko tinggi just by the fact that mereka adalah warga emas, dan juga tambahan pula jika mereka mempunyai comorbidity yang tinggi. Comorbidity yang menyebabkan risiko tinggi. Contohnya penyakit kencing manis, darah tinggi, penyakit jantung dan sebagainya. Okay. And kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perhatikan kepada kenyataan media semalam oleh Menteri Kesihatan, mekanisme pemberian dos penggalak kedua bagi warga emas berumur 60 tahun ke atas telah pun dikeluarkan. Okay, so you can see that the elderly at a higher risk because they are elderly and also because they have comorbidities. Now we have actually come up with the mechanism how they can get the second dose, as was announced by the health minister yesterday.
Okay, I think you've translated yourself, so I don't need to go into it.
I'm just trying to make it easier for you.
Fantastic. So I think I will just have a conversation with you, which I think will make it
Sure.
easier for everyone to
Sure.
digest the information as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you're moving on to something that's very interesting. It's about people who want to travel, and I think all of us, many of us want to go traveling.
Yes. So sekarang individu yang ingin keluar negara. So semua orang maklum bahawa kami telah membuka pembukaan sempadan-sempadan negara, ataupun what we say the opening of borders has already happened. So di sini jika ada seseorang yang ingin pergi ke negara luar yang mungkin tidak menerima vaksin yang telah diterima, okay, mereka boleh mendapat vaksin yang bersesuaian sebagai dos penggalak kedua. In the sense that people who are traveling to a country that maybe do not accept, like some countries didn't accept the Sinovac, and so they require the Pfizer. So for these people, you can actually go to the PPVs and you can request and get your relevant vaccine. You can make an application for it, and then but you need to do this, of course, 1 month before you are going to travel. Okay, so sesiapa yang ingin mendapatkan dos tersebut bolehlah pergi ke PPV berhampiran dan mendapatkan dos itu, tapi jangan lupa lakukannya 1 bulan selepas dos penggalak pertama. If you've got the booster, you have to do it 1 month after your second dose, and then you can of course travel.
Okay, so that means we have to find out first the countries we're traveling to, whether they accept the vaccine that we already had, yeah?
Yes.
Then 1 month before the travel date, we should go for the accepted one, the accepted vaccine. Yeah?
Because like they keep changing. Apa yang penting untuk kita faham adalah semua negara kerap menukar polisi. Sebelum ini UK tidak menerima Sinovac, tetapi pada masa ini mereka sudah menerima Sinovac. You see, we found that the countries change their policies. You know.
Yeah.
UK didn't accept Sinovac, now they're accepting. So unfortunately, we don't keep that list. So kami tidak akan menyimpan senarai-senarai tersebut. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perlu mendapat tahu maklumat tersebut daripada negara yang ditujui. That means apabila seseorang ingin mengebara ke negara, tolong dapat tahu apakah polisi-polisi negara tersebut.
Yeah.
Find
And
out
that would be
policy.
found from the embassies and all that they are going
Yes,
through.
the embassies. And most of the countries, they already have put it out on their websites.
Yeah.
So get that information first, because some require testing, some don't require testing, some require a specific type of vaccine. So it's important to find out all this information.
Right, because there are no universal rules. I mean, we just need to find out before we travel, right? Yeah,
That's
so
right.
the onus is back on us lah, as travelers.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
So mungkin just a quick look on kita punya SEIR model. Mungkin semua orang sudah maklum apa R0, RT. Banyak semua orang dah tahulah apa R0, RT. So maksud R0 atau RT adalah bagi seorang yang telah positif COVID, berapa orang mereka boleh menjangkiti. So jika R0 adalah 1, maksudnya seorang kes COVID boleh menjangkiti seorang yang lain. So we're talking about our SEIR model, which is a modeling of transmissibility of COVID. So what the R0 and RT, the famous R0 and RT means is how many people you can transmit to. So if a positive case if your R0 is 1 or your RT is 1, a positive case can transmit to one other person. So the accepted level is under 1. So apa yang kami ingin capai adalah supaya R0 kita adalah di bawah 1. That means you do not even infect one person. So that's the idea. So selama ini R0 kami adalah melebihi, we were at a point near, in fact up to 2 even, tetapi R0 kita turun kurang daripada 1. Dan kalau kita tengok kepada modeling ini, this is just untuk makluman, kalau kita tengok warna biru, itu adalah forecast, apa kita kata kes-kes yang kita buat unjuran bilangan kes, jika R0 adalah 0.95, berapakah kes yang didapati, warna biru. Okay, jika R0 adalah 1.2, unjuran kes adalah mengikuti warna jingga. Dan jika R0 adalah 1.6, unjuran kes adalah mengikuti warna merah. So we model and we forecast the cases. So if our R0 is at a low level of 0.95, the cases will be in the blue area. If our R0 was 1.2, it will be in the orange area. And if the R0 was 1.6, it will be in the red area. So what then we do is we match it to our actual cases. So bila kita tengok kes-kes sebenarnya, iaitu garisan hitam, itu adalah observed case or kes-kes sebenar, kita mendapati ia telah meningkat pada awal tahun ini. It actually went up very high in accordance with our R0, higher R0. So ia selari dengan R0 yang tinggi. Walau bagaimanapun, apa yang baik adalah pada 21 April semalam, kita mendapati R0 kita adalah 0.81. Our R0 as of the 21st of April was 0.81. So we are down back to under 1.
And that's really good because we are talking about infectivity rate that is really a lot lower, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So peralihan ke endemic. Semua orang tanya, kenapa kita beralih? Sudah sampai endemic, what can we do? What can we do? Everybody's excited, yes?
Yeah. So a little bit too excited, but yeah.
Yes. So, apa yang kita tahu, sudah 2 tahun sudah lepas, okay, setelah COVID bermula. In fact, 2 tahun 4 bulan telah lepas. Banyak maklumat telah diperolehi. Kami maklum bahawa virus ini adalah novel virus. Tetapi daripada masa tersebut sehingga sekarang, kami telah memperolehi banyak maklumat. Pelbagai varian telah muncul. Strategi sama diamalkan di banyak negara, kebanyakan negara. Dan juga kami mengambil kira bahawa ada keperluan untuk meningkatkan ekonomi dan keperluan untuk semua orang balik ke kehidupan normal. So this is what we are talking about transition because of this. After 2 years and getting all this information that we know, knowing that there's all these variants, these same strategies are being employed in every country, or most of the countries. We know we need to get back, or we need to improve our economy once again and get people back to normal. So this is why we need to go towards this transition period to endemicity.
Once again, you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, but anyway, just a quick look at it. We're talking about the endemic stage. Sorry, Dr. Priya, could you just go back one slide?
Yes, I will.
We're talking about the endemic phase. As we all know, it's been 2 years already. We have got like a barrage of information coming in about the viruses and its variant, all the different types of variants that have been around. Of course, there's a lot of myths that surrounds it, a lot of things that we are unclear of, but it's always good for us to understand, and what we're dealing with, actually, every day we should find out, okay, exactly what it's all about. Now, this very same strategy is being practiced internationally, with most countries backing up this particular strategy that Dr. Priya is talking about, and definitely one of the positive move in the right direction is that we need to go towards the reviving actually of all the economies that we have right now, and to make sure that people go back to living with it as a norm and living in normality. Yes. Right? So I think I've summarized your pointers here.
Thank you. So going on to the next question. Adakah kami bersedia untuk peralihan ke endemik ke?
Oh,
Ada
God.
orang yang tanya soalan.
Yes, yeah.
Bersedia atau tidak? So okay, pertama sekali kita boleh kata kita mempunyai satu program vaksinasi yang berjaya. Ya, kami telah berjaya mencapai 80.9% kadar vaksinasi di kalangan rakyat Malaysia. Sistem kesihatan yang masih berteguh, belum lagi hancur. Kami masih dapat menghadapi kes-kes yang banyak jika terdapat kes yang banyak. Kami telah dapat memobilisasikan pegawai dan dapat menangani COVID tanpa sistem kesihatan kami hancur. Contoh di Itali, ya, ramai orang telah meninggal sebab tidak dapat memasuki hospital, tidak dapat rawatan di hospital. Ketiga, Omicron menyebabkan gejala dan komplikasi penyakit yang lebih ringan berbanding dengan varian Delta, terutamanya di kalangan yang telah divaksinasi dan juga yang telah mempunyai imuniti dari jangkitan COVID-19. Dan akhir sekali, walaupun bilangan kes baru COVID-19 meningkat dan adalah tinggi, kadar penggunaan katil ICU, penggunaan alat bantuan pernafasan dan kematian semasa gelombang Omicron adalah jauh lebih rendah daripada semasa gelombang Delta.
So let's assess how ready we are in this transition stage to the endemic phase. First of all, our vaccination program has been successful. We have achieved about more than 80% vaccination. Our the health system is still rather robust. Thirdly, Omicron, which is now what's going on, in a more rapid stage, is not as complicated in its infectivity, in its infection rate. And lastly, when we look at it and we look at our health system, I think the apparatus, the system, whatever we need in the ICU, the beds, the instrumentations, the breathing apparatus, and when we look at the death rates, when we had the Omicron wave, it is still a lot lower than during the Delta wave. So in that sense, are we ready for this transition to the endemic? Those are the 4 factors to consider.
And actually, we considered that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay, so sekarang saya membawa tuan-tuan dan puan-puan kepada satu lagi fakta. It's also somewhat similar, but ini adalah dipanggil decoupling effect. So decoupling effect adalah, mungkin kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan memperhatikan graf di kiri, kita nampak bahawa kemuncak varian Delta adalah pada Ogos 2021, dan you can see kalau kita banding dengan bulan 2 Februari 2022 di mana terdapat varian Omicron. So sekarang kita itu adalah bilangan kes. So kalau kita tengok kepada pesakit COVID-19 di ICU, seperti yang telah ditunjukkan oleh Penny, the red arrow, kita nampak bahawa semasa puncak Delta, kes di ICU adalah banyak. Tapi kalau that's the red circle, kita dah tengok kepada bulatan warna merah. Manakala pada kemuncak varian Omicron Februari 2022, kita nampak bahawa kes-kes adalah kurang di ICU. You look at where Penny's arrow is, if you look at the yellow circle, okay, bulatan kuning pula, itu adalah perbandingan dengan varian Omicron atau disebabkan oleh varian Omicron. Kita nampak bahawa ia jauh berbeza. Pesakit COVID di ICU adalah sangat kurang semasa Omicron berbanding dengan Delta. Okay, so kalau kita beralih pula ke kematian, the next graph on the right, which is death, sama, pattern yang sama, kita nampak trend yang sama, ya, di mana semasa Delta puncak kematian adalah tinggi, puncak Delta, and di semasa Omicron, puncak Omicron, kematian adalah rendah. graf ketiga adalah pesakit yang dimasukkan ke ward, tetapi di sini I must say that pada masa graf ini disediakan iaitu 6 Mac, kes-kes di ward untuk Omicron pun adalah agak tinggi pada masa itu, tapi lebih rendah daripada Delta, but it was a little high pada masa itu. Cuma pada masa ini sekarang April 23 kes-kes telah semakin menurun. Dan akhir sekali, if we look at alat bantuan pernafasan, or here what we're talking about is the ventilation, ventilatory support, kita mendapati sama juga. Kemuncak Delta memang banyak keperluan untuk ventilator, alat bantuan pernafasan, tetapi pada kemuncak Omicron, keperluannya adalah kurang. Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think that's very well stated by you.
Okay.
Well, I think we're pointing out at the rate, and you can see the difference here.
The differences are seen in when you look at the cases. On the left, you look at the cases where you had a peak of Delta and a peak of Omicron. And then so we are comparing it to the factors. So if you look at those in ICU, you can see that during the peak of Delta, there were many cases in the ICU. Whereas if you look at the peak of Omicron, it's very much less. Similarly for deaths as well, the next graph, you will see the same pattern. Very much higher in Delta, very much less in Omicron. The third is those who were warded. But for warded, as I mentioned, this data was at 6th of March. So at 6th of March, we did have more cases in the wards for Omicron. That's why it doesn't show so much of a difference. But as of now, 23rd of April, if we were to do this graph again, it will be very much different. And last but not least, for those needing ventilatory support, again, you can see that very clear difference. During the peak of Delta, it's very high. And during the peak of Omicron, it's very low.
So it's very much well in control. Yeah.
Okay. So mungkin semua orang ingin balik ke kehidupan setelah tamat COVID-19. That's what I think.
No, we just want to travel.
Okay. So bagaimana maju ke depan? Itu soalannya. How do we go forward? So Malaysia telah memasuki transisi, fasa transisi pada April.
Transition stage. We are at the transition stage.
Dengan harapan ini adalah jalan keluar pandemik for us.
The way out of this pandemic, right?
Yes, hopefully for us.
Okay.
So dalam peralihan ke endemik ini, apa yang penting adalah kami sedang melatih, or what we are doing is melatih rakyat Malaysia untuk hidup bersama dengan COVID. So dalam proses melatih rakyat Malaysia pada masa transisi ini, langkah-langkah kawalan dan pencegahan masih perlu diamalkan, iaitu penggunaan pelitup muka, pengamalan penjarakan dan juga kebersihan diri. Kebersihan tangan, kebersihan diri perlu diamalkan.
So at this endemic stage, right, we still need to take care of these three things. Take heed of these three things. Very important to still use our face mask, to definitely to keep a distance. Social distancing is still important, and definitely sanitize. Wash hands with soap. Go back to the how many minutes you should be like washing your hands and how many seconds, and I think that's very important.
Yes, because as I mentioned, it's a training. We're training the people to live with the virus. So this transition phase is a training period. So we still need to do all this. So peralihan ke endemik ini telah dijadikan lebih senang. Dahulu ada pelbagai SOP, 118 SOP. Walau bagaimanapun, pada sekarang ada satu SOP umum sahaja dan 9 garis panduan yang membantulah dalam cara untuk kita mendapat penjelasan untuk SOP tersebut. Tetapi secara umum, satu SOP umum yang diguna pakai bagi apa-apa jua keadaan. Di mana apa yang kita memberi kepentingan adalah kepada penguatkuasaan kendiri. Okay? Bukan kepada penguatkuasaan oleh penguatkuasa, tetapi kepada penguatkuasaan kendiri oleh orang ramai.
So right now, instead of having the 118 SOPs as we have practiced in the past, we are now looking at just one common SOP for everyone. And we're talking about the onus is upon yourself, on the individual, as an individual, to monitor the whole situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly. Absolutely. So we need to understand peralihan ke endemik ini bukan maksudnya kita dah free, happy, tak ada penyakit. Morbidity dan mortality akibat jangkitan masih berlaku. Ada orang yang jadi teruk juga, ada orang yang meninggal dunia juga daripada jangkitan. And of course, kita mengetahui bahawa ada setengah golongan yang paling berisiko, terutamanya warga emas yang mempunyai tahap imuniti yang lemah, rendah, individu dengan komorbid atau penyakit kronik, dan juga yang belum mendapat vaksinasi lengkap. So mereka perlulah selalu mematuhi SOP. Dan bagi yang belum mendapat vaksinasi adalah digalakkan untuk mendapat vaksinasi lengkap.
So we're still encouraging people who are not fully vaccinated to get your boosters, to get your full vaccination, to be fully vaccinated, and we are paying particular focus attention to warga emas, to seniors like whether or not you have comorbidities or no or none, healthy or you are still in the high risk category, and we should all be looking at vaccinations to keep ourselves safe.
Right, absolutely. So dari segi prosedur atau SOP telah pun dipermudahkan yang satu SOP tersebut. So ada banyak mungkin beberapa langkah-langkah yang telah ataupun beberapa SOP yang telah pun diperkenalkan. So pertama adalah waktu operasi. So tiada lagi waktu operasi yang terhad, mana-mana tempat kerja boleh buka mengikut lesen atau permit yang telah didapati. Of course, penggunaan MySejahtera masih dikekalkan, pemakaian pelitup muka masih dikekalkan, pengamalan penjarakan masih dikekalkan. Sekiranya boleh, maksudnya di mana-mana keadaan yang betul-betul tidak boleh, tak apa, tetapi pada masa itu pelitup muka perlu digunakan. Of course, memastikan pengudaraan dan sistem ventilasi yang baik, menjaga kebersihan tangan, kebersihan premis, mengikuti langkah-langkah pelaksanaan ujian mengikuti National Testing Strategy, menguruskan kes yang disyaki atau disahkan, dan akhir sekali mematuhi keperluan vaksinasi.
Okay, so we're talking about this one SOP, right? We need to look into these following things, to help us with this SOP. Number one, most operators are now going according to what their permit is. So it's back to the normal operating hours according to their license. We're talking about the usage of MySejahtera app, and the trace is still going on. We definitely are looking into the wearing of the mask or shields. We're practicing a safe distance. We're talking about social distancing. We want to make sure that there is ventilation in the places that we go to. Very importantly, we need to take care of hygiene, hands, and you're talking about the cleanliness, hygiene state of the premises that we go to. We also need to still carry out the national testing strategy, which is about the tracing of the COVID-19 and the assessment and the management of the cases. What did you call those cases?
The management of suspected and confirmed cases.
And definitely the need to vaccinate.
Yes.
Okay, for most of the activities there.
Right. Okay. So if this is just to show, ini adalah fasa peralihan endemik. So we know, as we already mentioned just now, pelitup muka, daftar MySejahtera, dan ada beberapa langkah-langkah yang telah diambil untuk memansuhkan SOP yang ketat. Contohnya penjarakan fizikal di rumah-rumah ibadat telah pun dibenarkan. Sekatan ke atas waktu operasi tidak ada lagi. My Travel Pass untuk bukan warga negara, dan apa telah dibenarkan adalah merentasi negeri untuk semua orang tanpa mengira status vaksinasi, pembukaan sempadan antarabangsa, membenarkan acara atau aktiviti berkapasiti penuh, sama juga dengan operasi tempat kerja boleh berfungsi dalam kapasiti penuh, dan juga perjalanan ke Malaysia tanpa kuarantin untuk pelancong yang lengkap vaksinasi.
So in this state, once again, I will make all this available to you on our Facebook pages, and if you request, we will send it out to you on our hotline. So get in touch with us if you want to read more about it. But this is what's happening as of 1st of April. We are talking about most of the activities of worship. They've already been open so long as they practice the SOPs of the social distancing. We're talking about the opening of borders for people to travel across states. We are looking at the even the international borders for visitors to come back in, for tourists to come in without quarantine, as long as they have their vaccination.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yep, I can give this to you in English and Bahasa. I can give you
Great. So it will be made accessible to you guys.
Sure.
All right.
Again, I must remind everybody it's dynamic. It will change along the way. Mungkin akan ada pertukaran. So selalu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perlu mengikutilah apa ni kenyataan-kenyataan yang dikeluarkan. Ya. So there might be changes. Dan saya beralih ke prosedur pengurusan kontak rapat yang terkini berkuat kuasa 22 April. So pada masa ini bagi sesiapa yang dianggap sebagai kontak rapat, close contact, jika tidak bergejala, tidak perlu kuarantin, tidak perlu melakukan ujian pengesanan COVID-19, tapi perlu mengamalkan langkah pencegahan untuk tempoh 5 hari daripada hari pendedahan. Iaitu langkah-langkah apa? Memakai pelitup muka, elakkan berada di tempat sesak, memastikan pengudaraan yang baik, elakkan daripada melawat kumpulan berisiko tinggi dan hanya membuat perjalanan yang penting sahaja. Walau bagaimanapun bagi yang bergejala ataupun simptomatik, mereka digalakkan untuk melakukan kuarantin kendiri, ya. Digalakkan melakukan ujian RTK antigen kendiri, self-testing, dan jika keputusan RTK antigen kendiri adalah negatif dan gejala berkurangan, mereka boleh melakukan aktiviti luar tetapi dengan mengamalkan langkah-langkah pencegahan.
Okay, for the benefits for all of you, all this will be made once again accessible to you guys on Facebook. Dr. Priya, please go on.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure everyone understood that. The asymptomatic do not need to be quarantined, do not need testing, but have to follow preventive measures for 5 days, as I mentioned just now. But the symptomatic are encouraged to undergo quarantine, encouraged to do testing. And if their test is negative and the symptoms have reduced, they can carry on with their activities. Okay. So just a quick touch on the border, pembukaan pintu masuk. These are our international borders. So kenapa kita telah membenarkan pembukaan pintu masuk setelah mengkaji model negara lain berdasarkan sains dan maklumat dan untuk menyenangkan proses bagi pengembara. Okay. Right, so why we opened our borders is because we looked at the models of other countries, we looked back at the papers, the studies, we looked at the science, and we want to make it easier. The process for travelers would be much easier. So based on that, we decided to open the border. So apa yang berada di sini adalah prosedur masuk ke Malaysia. I'm not going to go through it. So as Penny said, she will put all this up for you. So ada prosedur masuk ke Malaysia bermula 1 April dan juga prosedur bagi pengembara apa yang perlu dilakukan. So these are the procedures that you need to follow for entering the country once you have gone overseas. Okay. So if I were to proceed then, warga emas merupakan golongan berisiko tinggi mendapatkan jangkitan, especially 60 tahun ke atas. Risiko bertambah kepada mereka yang mengidap penyakit kronik dan warga tua berisiko mendapat penyakit serius, dimasukkan ke hospital ataupun meninggal dunia akibat COVID-19. I'm sorry, there's a typo there. Okay, so these are important points to remember. Not only untuk warga tua tetapi kepada yang menjaga warga tua.
So caretakers as well.
That's right.
That, right?
Yeah, must take note that they are high risk. So apakah warga tua boleh buat untuk menjaga diri mereka, menjaga kesihatan mereka? makan sihat, makanlah makanan sihat, lakukan senaman ringan. Jangan kata saya takut nak keluar, saya duduk di rumah, saya tidak bergerak, saya makan dan duduk tengok TV. No, perlu lakukan senaman ringan juga. Lakukan aktiviti sosial, bercakap dengan kawan-kawan, rakan-rakan, keluarga. Jangan biar diri kita berseorangan. Ini tidak baik untuk kesihatan mental. Dapatkan rawatan bagi penyakit kronik dan amalkan langkah kawalan dan pencegahan yang sewajarnya.
Okay, so it's all about a healthy diet. It's all about still moving, still exercising,
Yes.
social activities. These are all things that we can do, okay, for ourselves. And if we are looking at something chronic, I think we should immediately get the doctor's attention.
Yes.
And definitely practice the SOPs.
Yes. So this is important for everyone to remember. So basically, as far as possible, kalau boleh, jika warga tua yang berisiko tinggi ada penyakit kronik dan jika tidak ada kepentingan untuk pergi ke sesuatu tempat yang sesak, sempit atau perlu sembang dengan orang, kita avoid. Janganlah elakkan kawasan sesak, elakkan kawasan sempit, especially di mana ada ramai orang, pengudaraan yang kurang baik, okay? Dan especially kawasan sembang. So jika kita rasa kita berisiko tinggi, kita elakkanlah pada masa ini, ya.
Yeah. Avoid crowded areas, and we're talking about
Confined
places. Confined places, and places must be well ventilated. That's very important. Yeah.
Dan juga pakai pelitup muka dengan cara yang betul. Jangan pakai pelitup muka hanya untuk memakai pelitup muka. Maksudnya di bawah hidung, di bawah dagu. Pakai pelitup muka dengan menutup hidung. Cara yang baik dan betul.
Important to wear our mask properly to make sure it covers up the nose and the mouth and not just wear it below the nose and on the chin. A mask is meant to cover here.
That's right. Okay, so once again, all this will be put up. Tapi ini adalah just amalan-amalan. Okay, jika akan adakan satu sesi, maybe satu perayaan bagus kalau sesiapa yang hadir itu lakukan ujian saringan ke diri. Yes, kalau boleh jangan berkumpul jika tidak sihat. Buka tingkap dan pintu untuk pengudaraan yang baik. Kalau boleh, adakan aktiviti atau perjumpaan di luar rumah di mana ventilasi adalah baik. Dan sentiasa pakai pelitup muka, hanya tanggalkan ketika waktu makan atau minum.
Just some of the common practices, we should always do our own self-test. Try not to go for mass gathering if you're already not feeling well. Make sure that wherever we go to, it has got great ventilation, open all windows, doors if possible. And it's always encouraged for us to if we must have a celebration, to do it outside. Not indoors, but outdoors instead. And always wear your mask. And take it off only when you're eating or drinking.
Right. And of course, I've just put up the TRIS here once again for you to share. So it's about talking about a few things. So TRIS adalah test, report, isolate, inform and seek treatment. So maksudnya uji diri sendiri. Jika dapat positif, laporkan dalam MySejahtera, lakukan pengasingan jika positif, maklumkan kepada kontak rapat jika mereka adalah kontak rapat, dan dapatkan rawatan jika gejala bertambah teruk.
Yeah. So all this will be made available to you on our Facebook page.
All right. So a very, very important point. Jangan terpedaya dengan berita palsu.
Yeah, I think this is something that we all must really learn and practice. Please do not spread fake news, false news. Always verify those news.
Yes. Jangan terpedaya, jangan kongsi, semak dahulu kebenaran berita. And of course, bila kita perlu semak berita, gunakan portal yang bersesuaian, Kementerian Kesihatan, ke WHO, ke CDC, yang authentic. Use your authentic sites to verify information. Dan jangan lupa, sebab maklumat kita bertanggungjawab terhadap maklumat tersebut.
Alright.
Dengan itu, sila buat pilihan bijak untuk memastikan keselamatan anda dan juga orang lain dari COVID-19. And just remember, it's not over yet. We are in the transition phase. Hopefully, we'll get to the endemic phase. We will get there eventually. But satu perhatian kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Ramai orang tanya, kenapa kita masih amalkan pelitup muka, kenapa ni, kenapa tu, kenapa masih ketat dan tak. Kenapa UK, kita boleh pergi ke UK buka mask, pergi Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Netherlands. Tak payah kuarantin, tak payah pakai mask. So ini adalah apa yang berlaku di negara-negara tersebut. Greece, Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, Germany dan UK. Pada penghujung tahun lalu, November, penghujung tahun 2020 dan 2021, kita nampak bahawa kes mereka berkurangan. Tetapi dengan kelonggaran SOP di negara tersebut juga, kita mendapati tiba-tiba kes semakin naik secara mendadak untuk setengah negara juga pada Januari 2022, seterusnya turun dan naik lagi. In fact, di negara China ada kluster besar pada masa ini. Okay.
Oh, wow. If there's something that we can learn from areas around us is that any form of, when we start to relax the SOPs, sometimes people tend to get a little bit too relaxed and, they tend not to look at the SOPs anymore. Now, if there's something to be learned from the other countries, as mentioned in this graph, Greece, Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, and the UK's, there was an increase in the numbers of the outbreak again. So in fact, as we speak, right now in China, we're dealing with quite a fair bit of numbers now, right? Numbers are increasing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's
SOP,
just a
everyone,
note.
SOP
Yeah.
is important, yeah?
So before I end, how do we get to endemic? When do we know we're in endemic stage? So Malaysia tidak akan memberi ataupun memberitahu bahawa deklarasi endemik. Walaupun sesebuah negara menganggap mereka boleh mencapai endemik, tetapi memandangkan kita telah membuka sempadan, ada pergerakan orang ke dalam negara dan ke luar negara, kami tidak boleh kata kami mencapai endemik. So endemik sebenarnya hanya dicapai apabila Pertubuhan Kesihatan Sedunia memberi deklarasi endemik kepada seluruh dunia.
So for a declaration for the endemic stage, it has to be made by the WHO. Am I right?
Absolutely. They
so
will make the declaration.
Yeah, that will be a declaration, and then that's when we will all know that we have entered the endemic stage.
Yes.
Right?
Because we should remember, kami perlu ingat, ini bukan saja endemik satu negara. Ini adalah endemik seluruh dunia, disebabkan seluruh dunia terlibat dalam pandemik. So that's what you have to remember. The world is involved in pandemic, so the world has to reach endemicity.
Dr. Priya, that was a fantastic session with you. And the questions are just rolling in. So sure. I'm going to have to start to move you towards the question and answer stage. If not,
that's perfectly
we will not end by midnight.
Yeah, that was the last slide, but so that was just it. So what it means by being endemic is that we will live with the virus back to normal. That's all.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start to point out some of the Q&A to you, sure. So that you can explain and talk through it. Sure. There's one particular one that I would love for you to address. Mm-hmm. I have my personal views on it as well. Okay, there is a question. Does ivermectin help? They're talking about the fifth dose. Is this really necessary? Okay. So there are two questions there, yeah?
Right. So we'll talk about antivirals. There's actually and treatment. Okay. So there's a lot of treatment that is being used in the market. Actually, not in the market, overseas and in Malaysia. Treatment used in control environments. Okay. Maksudnya rawatan diguna oleh doktor-doktor di hospital. Okay. Dengan cara yang betul. Okay, so we have been using a lot of things. Hydroxychloroquine has been brought out. Yes, ivermectin. Ivermectin has a role, but not the way people are using it. Okay, ivermectin is used in the hospital setting for specific cases by the doctors. It is not meant to be taken by people just like that. People are popping ivermectin daily, and there are many people with ivermectin poisoning right now.
Wow.
So there's a big misunderstanding on taking these drugs. And unfortunately, there are some people out there wrongly advocating this. They're saying, oh, ambil. And even I believe some doctors are doing it, advocating. But I have to tell you from, not government, from Ministry of Health perspective, and based on the science and research, and even in every country, do not please take ivermectin yourself, thinking it's preventive.
Yeah.
Similarly, we have another drug, Paxlovid, was also in the news.
Mm-hmm.
We've purchased Paxlovid and we're actually carrying out the tests. So whatever medication we get and purchase, we test it out first and look into the requirements and the users and the needs. So it's not to be taken by the individual.
So we should not self-medicate, in short. No self-medication. So it's not like a Panadol or a paracetamol that you can
not
just
at
pop.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about dealing with it in a certain manner. So
Yes.
now another question. The second booster developed specifically, no, is the second booster developed specifically for the Omicron virus by Pfizer, or is still similar to the booster, the first booster, which targeted the earlier variants?
Yeah, no, the boosters are not like specifically targeted to one variant. They can't do it that way, but it will cover the variants as well. So it is covered for Omicron. By taking the second booster, you know that you are protected from Omicron. Yes.
So the second booster is very, very important as well. Now,
Very
if one
important.
gets infected with the Omicron variant, will that prevent the infection of the Delta variant?
No, not necessarily. So this is what we see in terms of reinfection. So we know that once we get infected for 3 months, we actually should be protected. And we should not be getting infection once again. And in fact, with Delta, that worked pretty well. We didn't see any reinfections occurring. But with Omicron, we do see some reinfections. But interestingly, it is with a different strain. It could be with Delta.
So it's a different strain, huh?
Yeah. But again, this is only based on the few cases that we know of. So there's no extensive study being carried out yet, or it's in the process of being carried out. So we don't know the actual reality, but we can only comment on what we know as of now.
So once infected with COVID-19, it doesn't necessarily mean you are immune. Am I right?
You are not totally immune. Maybe for a period of a couple of months, we consider an immunity, and with the booster. So you're never really completely immune. But what the vaccination does is it reduces the impact. So you would not really get a severe infection and have to go to hospital and have to, be ventilated, or it may even lead to death. So it reduces that drastically.
It reduces the impact, yeah?
Yeah.
So is the Sinovac booster effective against the virus, the Sinovac booster?
It is effective, but we know that looking at the vaccines, they have some differences. Some are slightly more effective, some are slightly less effective. The Sinovac is slightly less effective. We're not saying it's not effective, it is slightly less effective in comparison to Pfizer. But yes, it is effective against the booster. So you must remember that there's many factors to take into consideration. When you take a vaccine and booster, it also depends on the reaction of that vaccine in your body. Right, and it also depends if your body is immunocompromised, your body is strong. So it works like it's like a oil clock with different compartments. It's not that if I take the booster, it's the same response in everybody. It may be different in different people as well, based on their body constitution and their body condition at that point of time. So it's very, very individualistic.
Okay, we have one more question from Jenny. If a person is above 55 years of age and has taken 2 doses of Sinovac with a booster of Pfizer, has had blood pressure, bad blood pressure, cholesterol. Oh, sorry, I was reading a message that was later deleted. Okay, adults and seniors allowed to take additional booster shot on a voluntary basis after 2 doses, primary and 1 booster. Seniors and adults allowed to take.
Yeah. So now we have opened out for seniors, and if you noticed yesterday, the press statement, it's already opened out. So you can either, they will send, I think, the appointment to the MySejahtera. But if you look at what the minister has come up with, if you want to do it on your own, you can still go to the center and get it done.
Okay. Yeah. From Grace Sim, since the government has already rolled out the second boosters, the age-old questions, is it really necessary to take it?
Yes, it's necessary because we are, as you notice, the target is now for the elderly first. And why? Because the reason why is when we look at the deaths, the deaths that we have are among the elderly, are among those with multiple comorbids, those with lower immunity. So the idea is to protect this group of people. So that is why the vulnerable group or this high-risk group has to be given a second booster.
Okay. Pochi asked, are we putting too much chemical into our body? Too much
No.
drugs and chemical?
No, it does not. It's just like you took your BCG when you were young, you took it again when you were in school, you had your triple vaccine when you were a young child, 2 years old, 3 years old, you took tetanus. Vaccines are not a lot of chemicals in the body. Not a problem. Yeah.
Okay. Lulu, let me read out her message. Dr. Priya, appreciate your advice regarding the necessity to wear mask outdoors soon, only to wear mask indoors. We were advised those days to wear mask, face shield. So is it now not necessary to wear face shields? 3-ply medical mask would suffice.
Yes.
Of course, that is with strict SOPs.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, actually, there's no need for the additional facial. That was at one period of time. So we also remember that along the way, we've also learned things, and the situation has been different strains, different things going on. At this point of time, there's actually no necessity for a face shield. A face mask is sufficient. Of course, we say you can even use a fabric mask or a non-medical mask, but for the elderly, we do recommend the 3-ply medical mask. It gives better protection for the elderly group.
But there are the 3-plies, the 4-plies, and the 5-plies. So is 3-ply really good enough?
Yes, it's good enough. The 4-ply and 5-ply are all these KSF. Those, the KF4 and 5 are actually Korean standards, and it's just something they came up with. But the standards that's used for those masks are similar to others, like the French standards and so on. So don't worry about that. See, this is all marketing techniques. So people get on the bandwagon, all the companies. So then they say, okay, we'll make a 4. Then everybody will buy the 4. Then we'll make a 5. People will think it's a 5. But the general, if you're buying a medical 3-ply mask, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
But get good masks, I would advise get good masks from trusted names, from trusted people, rather than just simply.
Actually, you just look for the standardization. I mean, it's not just serum. If we're talking about international standardization, the CEN, you'll see CEN written there. Or ASTM written there. So these are international standards that have been used for medical masks. We only put standards, by the way, I'll just clarify that, for medical masks. So even in ministry, there's no legal requirement for standards. But in medical setup, or when we want people, we need a better protection, or we need to effect better protection, then we would take those that comply to those standards. So for medical masks, we refer to standards. There are standards for non-medical masks or fabric masks, but there's no requirement for it. So like we said, for high-risk groups, we just advise them to go for medical masks. So medical masks, you can see that it complies to standards.
Because that's a very important statement, could I request for you to repeat that in BM, please?
Okay, sure. Okay, so untuk penggunaan pelitup muka, so penggunaan pelitup muka medical, kita panggil medical atau surgical, adalah pelitup muka 3-ply atau 3 lapis yang memang telah dibangunkan atau dibuatlah, actually you can say telah dibuat, pembuatan telah membuat mask itu berdasarkan kepada standard-standard yang sedia ada, standard-standard antarabangsa, ada standard Amerika, ada standard Eropah, you have the ASTM standards, we have the EN standards, dan juga ada standard Malaysia. So tapi untuk keperluan medical surgical, kita menganggap bahawa adalah perlu untuk menggunakan mask yang telah dibuat mengikuti standard-standard antarabangsa tersebut. Walau bagaimanapun untuk orang ramai, kita sarankan penggunaan juga mask biasa, iaitu non-medical mask, mask bukan perubatan, ataupun juga mask yang telah dibuat oleh fabrik, mask kain, tetapi dengan 3 lapisan seperti yang dulu kami telah ajar, 2 lapisan tidak kalis air dan 2 lapisan kalis air dan 1 tidak kalis air. So if you follow the standards of the 2 non-absorbable and 1 absorbable layer, so itu adalah okey dan boleh digunakan oleh orang ramai tanpa penggunaan standard. Keperluan standard itu tidak ada. Tetapi untuk warga emas, kami sarankan dan kami galakkan penggunaan medical mask. So kalau anda ingin membeli medical grade mask, baru kita boleh rujuk kepada standard. Tengok pada kotak lah ada standard. Yes, whatever, SIRIM ke, ASTM, Standard America, EN, Standard Europa dan sebagainya. Tapi itu adalah cuma untuk mas perubatan, ya, for medical mask.
Yeah, so Michael, to answer your question, it's not necessarily a SIRIM approval. We're talking about international approval as well, and this is for medical masks. Yeah.
Say must have SIRIM mask.
No, not necessary.
Maybe lah.
No, not necessary.
No.
Anyway, I think this is we have come to the end of the session. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Priya, for that wonderful session. Okay.
Most
So I will catch up with you again soon.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very
for
much,
those of you who
everybody.
still have questions for Dr. Priya, put it into the chat. We will get it to her at some point. I will hand this session over to Kat again. Kat, over to you. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great session. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, yes, okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back again. Thank you, Dr. Priya, for the informative and interesting talk. And now I would like to share some of our upcoming events. Okay. One of it is the Amazing Raya Charity Cookout. Okay, that will take place ya pada 21 hari bulan Mei, di mana kami akan menjemput semua Syria volunteers ya untuk datang masak-masak, okay, and have a good time, and at the same time kita akan menolong ya golongan yang kurang mampu. And besides this, we also have other exciting events that are upcoming, which is we are actually now dalam perbincangan untuk menganjurkan satu event yang lagi besar dan lagi menarik. Okay, pada bulan Oktober sempena Hari Antarabangsa Warga Emas, atau lebih dikenali sebagai International Day of Older Persons, ya. Okay, so jangan lupa ya bagi details ya anda, and please like and follow ya. Klik like dengan ikuti kami di Facebook ya. Anda juga boleh menghantar WhatsApp ke hotline kami di 017 2019 746. Okay. Juga bagi pengetahuan anda semua, we have also got, like I mentioned earlier, lucky draw ya. Nanti lucky draw yang bernilai 3,500 dan banyak hadiah-hadiah yang menarik ya, sebagai 6 piece hand sanitizer dari Rela Halal Skincare, 20 voucher for dental scaling ya, penskala gigi dari KPJ ACC, dan 6 kotak raya barakah ya, gift box dari PGA Tua. So para pesara ya, jangan lupa isikan butir-butir anda, okay, pada borang lucky draw yang akan yang tertera di chat box, dan ingat ya, klik like dan ikut kami di Facebook. Okay, now we have something very special, okay, untuk kamu semua yang saya akan share ya. So kalau boleh ikut ya saya. Now I'd like you guys to come follow me. Alright, and I would like to introduce you to someone very special for today. Okay, this is Ruby Muhammad. Yeah, she is the owner and founder of Rela Halal Skincare. Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, okay. So can you please explain to us a little bit about your products?
Sure, can. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat datang and Assalamualaikum to all the viewers. Okay, I am Ruby Muhammad, founder of Rela Halal Skincare, locally made from Malaysia. Our product comes in skincare and body care range, and it is made from pineapple extract called bromelain. And our product is very unique in the sense that produk kami boleh digunakan mesra wuduk, mesra ibadah dan mesra ihram. Untuk sesiapa yang nak bawa produk ke haji ataupun umrah, siapa nak mengerjakan haji dan umrah boleh menggunakan produk kami sebab dia tidak mengandungi alcohol and no fragrance.
Oh, natural products.
Yes.
Which means that you are using.
We are using natural product.
All
Yes.
right, that's
And
very
it is
good.
made from bromelain.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm just wondering, yeah, can non-Muslims use this product of yours?
Of course, non-Muslim can use this as a daily product because the product tidak mengandungi any harsh chemical like paraben, SLS or SLES.
Oh yeah.
So it's very safe.
Yeah. Okay. And then how about kalau kita is it like specifically for male, female, or how?
It can
How
be,
does it work?
Rela is unisex. It can be used either by male or female. So I would say that all male viewers, you can start using skincare because it will take care. If you want beautiful skin, you can start using skincare.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all of you heard what Puan Ruby has just mentioned. Okay. In that case, we have just the perfect person. Okay, for this demonstration.
Right.
Okay. He is Mr. Derek.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do some demonstration on how to use skincare or what are the skincare that is suitable for male also in this range. Yeah? Okay, wet your finger. I'll give you some. Okay, sorry.
Cleanser, right?
Yes, cleanse your face. Okay, put on your face, cleanse. Okay, cleanse. Okay. Okay, wipe. Okay.
Yeah, so kita guna pencuci muka ya.
Yang dia tidak berbuih, no sasi, no foam because we don't have SLS. So your skin selamat. Okay, wipe off, dry, wipe off. Okay, wash off the whole face, the entire face. Don't leave anything behind. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, wipe everything. Wow, we're doing a demo. Skincare demo today. Okay, wipe. Okay. After that, I will give Derek some serum, 1 pump of serum. Okay, go ahead and put on your face. Okay, that. Okay. 2 fingers. Okay. 3 fingers. Okay. That serum is concentrated.
Wow, it feels very cooling.
Okay, this is face oil, 3 drops. Put on your face.
Same thing like that.
Same thing. This will contain the hydration on your skin.
Hydrate the skin.
Hydrate the skin.
Untuk lembapkan kulit. Ya.
Okay, some colek sedikit moisturizer. Okay.
Moisturizer penting ya, Puan Ruby?
Ya, penting, sangat penting because dia akan melengkapkan the entire skincare process. Tetapi
so Derek, how does your skin feel so far?
It's very cooling.
Cooling?
Seriously, folks, it's very cooling and it feels fresh.
Okay. Last but not least, this is Rela sunblock. You must 50 ml, 50 SPF 50. This must be used by everybody. Do not leave your house without sunblock. And another thing that is unique about Rela sunblock is Rela sunblock does not contain any chemical that can kill corals or marine life. So
you are also very environmental friendly.
Correct.
Yeah?
So we are reef friendly. So guys, because anything yang bermula kulit bermasalah akan bermula dengan kalau kita tidak block muka kita dengan sunblock. Okay.
I feel good.
Wah, nampak lagi handsome Derek.
Where can I get this? I want to bring my wife to go together and buy this.
You can buy this through our website, or you can buy this through the link that we gave in our chat box. Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay. Alright, that's interesting. Okay, ingat tak yang tadi saya ada beritahu pasal the KISS kita punya one of our lucky draw prizes which is the KISS hand sanitizer. Okay, which is also by Puan Ruby Rela Halal Skincare So what is this KISS Apa maksud dia ni?
Okay, KISS bermaksud keep it safe selalu, meaning keep your hands safe selalu, even though kita dah di dalam fasa endemic, tangan kita kena sentiasa bersih dan make sure that kuman dibunuh. And skin what do you call sanitizer ni? It is not hydrating, sesuai untuk kulit yang mereka yang berkulit sensitif. It's scented and it comes in a stylish packaging.
Oh, berapa sen yang ada tu?
Berapa dia 3 set? Cherry blossom, water lily dengan sage.
So okay, yeah. So everybody, this is kiss, yeah. So you go back with the kiss. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Puan Ruby, for your time and for the demonstration. Thank you so much also to Derek. Now, untuk pengetahuan semua ya, Rela Halal Skincare akan memberi diskaun sebanyak 10% ya, 10% skincare product ya, for any of their skincare products. And also, just to remind all of you again, the lucky draw ya that we have bernilai 3,500. And the amazing prizes that we have in stock also for you guys is the Kiss hand sanitizer from Rela Halal Skincare, the 20 vouchers untuk dental scaling penskala gigi dari KPJACC dan 6 kotak raya Baraka gift box dari PGA Tua. Alright, so also para pesara jangan lupa ya untuk isikan butir-butir anda pada borang lucky draw dalam chat box kita, dan ingat ya, klik like and follow ya, like dan follow kita di Facebook. Okay, now we have got our last and final speaker ya, speaker kita terakhir ya. Itu Dr. Wan Farzihan dari KPJACC ya. Dr. Wan Farzihan ni diwartakan sebagai pakar perubatan keluarga oleh Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia ya, KKM, pada tahun 2013 dan merupakan pakar berdaftar di Malaysian National Specialist Registry. Beliau juga ditugaskan sebagai pakar perubatan keluarga di klinik kesihatan di Sungai Buloh dari tahun 2013 hingga tahun 2021. Dan bagi pengetahuannya, anda semua juga, Dr. Wan akan menerangkan tentang immunity ya, dan bagaimana puasa. This is very interesting ya. Puasa boleh membantu meningkatkan immunity kita ya. So also back to the same thing again, like Dr. Priya, for our English speaking viewers, Kenny will once again on Dr. Wan's talk. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Wan Farzihan. Dr. Wan?
Dr. Wan, are you here, Dr. Wan?
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Wan?
Okay.
Boleh dengar?
Yeah, we can't see you, Dr. Wan.
Okay.
Hi, Dr. Wan.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, wait. Let me sanitize my hand first. I got here with me a bottle of Kiss. Interesting, right? Ooh, it's got nice aloe vera on it as well. Yeah, because I can't stand all these sanitizers that are like very, very hard and leaves it very harsh like that. At least this one keeps your hands nice and smooth. This is from the Rela group, okay? Kiss. Go get yourself a bottle. I think it's really, really nice, and it's very handy because I can just put it in my pocket. Okay. Anyway, Dr. Wan, welcome to Amazing Seniors. How are you feeling today?
Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Derek.
All right. So I'm going to leave it to you to have for your session.
Okay. All right. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the organizing committee of Amazing Seniors for inviting me today to give a talk. Okay, my name is Dr. Wan Farzihan binti Wan Adib. I'm a family medicine specialist. I'm working in KPJ Ambulatory Care Center Kinara, which has just opened last year in mid-November. Okay, so without further delay, I would like to start my topic today, which is keeping seniors amazing through endemic. Okay. Sorry, okay. So these are the contents of my topic to my amazing seniors. Okay. So what is life expectancy? So the term life expectancy, it refers to the number of years a person can expect to live. So on average, a baby born in 2021 is expected to live up to 75.6 years as compared when a baby was born in 2011 up to 74.3 years. So how about males who reach the age of 60 years? So males who reach the age of 60 years are expected to live further another 18.9 years, which makes about 78.9 years. As for females who reach the age of 60 years are expected to live for another 21.8 years, which is 81.8 years old. So from this chart, it shows the life expectancy in the world from 1955 to present. So you can see from this graph, it shows that the life expectancy has shown to double in all the world regions from 1950 up to 2020. So for the life expectancies for the whole country, for both sexes are 73.2 years. As for female is higher, 75.6, and for male is 70.8 years. So ladies and gentlemen out there, can you guess which country has the longest life expectancy? Any answer? Okay, so the country with the longest life expectancy is in Hong Kong, which is 85.3 for both sexes, which the female is 88 and the male is 82 years old. This is followed by Japan, 85 years, and Macau, 84.7 years. There are multifactorial causes that can contribute to the longevity of the seniors in these respective countries over time. One of it is healthy eating. So since we are in Ramadan and fasting month for Muslim, I'll focus on the benefits of fasting. So fasting is actually common to just about every major religious traditions, not only in Islam, but also in Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, and Judaism. So aside from the religious obligations upon Muslims during the holy month of Ramadan, where the Muslim fast daily from dawn to sunset for a month, fasting has countless health benefits. Okay. So I'm going to share with you what are the benefits of fasting in Ramadan. So when we don't eat for a while, several things start to happen in our body. We will have better digestive health, where we can improve the gut bacterial diversity, regulate our digestion, promote the healthy bowel functions that also improve our metabolism, get rid of the harmful toxins in the body, detoxify, and cleanse the human body. So during the holy month of Ramadan, many Muslims who are fasting, also they experience a lot of cravings during the day, especially during the time when the stomach starts to growl and your mind keep on thinking what food to eat, what food to buy, what food to cook. But however, we are not able to consume much upon breaking the fast, as because the stomach shrinks. The less food we put into the stomach over a length of time, the more the stomach shrinks. So we will feel full after just a small amount of food. It is because stomach is a flexible organ, which is like a rubber band. It's distensible. So if you keep filling up the stomach with food, it will keep increasing in size or maintaining its size, and vice versa. So when you fast, you put less food inside the stomach will shrink to its minimum size. And the effect is you get early satiety. So you don't get to eat much, okay? So progressive training of suppressing the hunger will reduce the baseline hunger hormone, and it can eventually reduce our appetite. Okay, so during the non-fasting state, we use energy from the food that we eat. But during the during the non-fasting state, we use energy from the food we eat. But during the fasting state, when the glucose level and insulin are depleted, or the body starts to activate the mechanism to search for the source of energy. So the glucose, which is turned to glycogen in the liver and muscles, will be converted back to sugar, so we can use it as a source of energy. But after that, our body will run out of the liver glycogen stores and search for another source of energy, which is the fat in the muscles. The fat in the muscles will be burned into the energy. So one of the most effective and popular dieting trends which have proven to give health benefits is intermittent fasting. We can see a lot of people are practicing intermittent fasting. I had friends among medical professionals that experienced dramatic weight loss on top of the health benefits from practicing intermittent fasting. So this concept is similar as fasting in Ramadan. So fasting, it helps to lose and shed weight. The presence of growth hormone in our body, okay, it also helps to facilitate the fat burning, and at the same time, it increases the lean muscle strength. Okay, so a lot of the athletes, I can share with you, a lot of the athletes professionals, they tend to use this fasting method as a key for burning fat, but at the same time to target and optimize the muscle growth. So they incorporate intermittent fasting into regular resistance training regime that can promote greater fat loss faster and build the muscle at the same time. So fasting, it increases the metabolism and help to preserve the muscle tissue and reduce our body weight and also body fat. Okay, so when we break fast, our body is able to replenish back our energy by eating. Okay, so how about our immune system? Okay, our immune system is largely comprised of white blood cells. It helps to, during the fasting month, it helps to initiate important cellular repair process. So this fasting, it encourages the body to recycle all white blood cells to result healthier, stronger immune system. So when our body starts to consume again, the body regenerates stem cells, which are the red, the white blood cells, and also the platelets. And during fasting, it can help to boost the antioxidant. These oxidants are the one that damage the cells. And also, it can increase the abilities of the macrophage, which are the advanced, bigger immune cells that can eat the bacteria as a whole. So by fasting, it promotes healing in the human body as it primarily focuses on its immune system and metabolism as opposed to focusing on the digestion. So as for recent experiments on animals and few human trials have shown that fasting, it can reduce the risk of cancer. It can reduce the growth rate of cancer as well. So it is scientifically proven that cancerous cells respond better to chemotherapy while fasting. Okay, so how about our blood pressure and blood sugar? Okay, because of the reduced food intake, the body salt intake will also become reduced. And there's also loss of salt through urine that will eventually lower down our BP. So even I can see that my BP, myself, I lowered compared to during the non-fasting state, okay? And I can share also, even one of my family members who are using smartwatch, they receive notification that there is a significant drop of the pulse or the heart rate from the baseline during the fasting month compared to the non-fasting state, okay? So how about our blood sugar? It's because the food intake, the calorie intake is reduced and we fasted about 13 hours, it can maintain the steady sugar level and insulin levels throughout the day. So it can improve the insulin resistance and glucose levels are stabilized. So the risk of type 2 diabetes will be lowered, especially those who are high risk of having type 2 diabetes. Okay. So how about our cardiovascular function? Okay, so it has been proven that the important cholesterol markers in our body will be reduced. So the three important cholesterol markers, which is the total cholesterol, the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, and the triglyceride. These three markers are reduced, and these three cholesterol markers are the one that is important for us to reduce to protect against cardiovascular disease. So for this, we can get a healthy heart, improve muscle performance, as also reduce cardiac stress, hence protect us against heart problem. Okay. So how about our mental health? During fasting, it also helps to balance the mind, sharpen the focus, concentration, and provide mental clarity. It is because primarily due to the reduction of calorie, sugar, and salt intake. It can improve our mood, okay? Improve our mood, reduce anxiety, and also depression. It can also help to improve the brain function, by increasing the generation of nerve cell synthesis, and protects us against neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's. Okay, so these are the 8 scientifically proven health benefits of Ramadan fasting, but the list keeps going on and on, okay? But it is of extreme importance for us to understand that Muslims that fast during the month of Ramadan can most definitely be very, very beneficial for our health if it is done correctly, okay? But of course, we Muslims, we fast to fulfill one of the 5 pillars in Islam, which is primarily the spiritual benefit and also blessings from Allah. Okay, so when I started my topic, I mentioned about the life expectancy graph. So we can see that our beloved seniors population has increased over the decades, since 1950 until now. So what are the ways for us to improve their health, our beloved seniors, amazing seniors' health, okay? So I'm only going to touch on 5 ways to improve health. There's a lot of approach, because maybe it's more than 5 ways, maybe it's 10, but I'm going to touch more only on 5 ways. So there's a lot of approach. You can educate via healthy eating with better nutrition, exercising, maintain the mental well-being, And not to forget to mention stop smoking, reduce alcohol intake, and also supporting of other healthy behaviors. Okay, so ini adalah fakta di Malaysia yang kita perlu ketahui. Ini adalah penyakit 3 serangkai, diabetes, hipertensi, kolesterol tinggi. 1.7 juta orang di Malaysia mempunyai 3 faktor risiko utama. Okay. So apakah cara pemakanan yang kita boleh amalkan semasa di bulan Ramadan? Tidak saja di bulan Ramadan, lepas ini kita akan menyambut Syawal dan lepas-lepas bulan Syawal pun kita hendak sentiasa menjaga amalan makanan sihat. Okay? Semasa di bulan Ramadan, disyorkan untuk makan secara perlahan dan tidak kukuh ketika berbuka. Makanan berkhasiat yang membekalkan tenaga dan nutrien yang tinggi ketika bersahur. Cuba amalkan pemakanan yang seimbang dan bersederhana mengikut konsep suku-suku separuh di mana yang saya akan share sekejap lagi. Hadkan makanan tinggi gula, kurangkan makanan berlemak, berminyak dan masin, dan kalau boleh elakkan minuman berkafein kerana ia boleh menyebabkan kehilangan air dalam badan. Pastikan anda ambil buah sayuran kerana ini boleh membantu melancarkan penghadaman dan juga meningkatkan imuniti badan kita. Okey, kita kena kekal hydrate di bulan Ramadan. Bukan saja di bulan Ramadan tapi lepas ini bulan Syawal sebab kita cuaca di Malaysia sekarang tidak menentu. Panas kejap, panas sejuk, panas sejuk. Okey. So cadangan waktu minum air kosong adalah untuk mencapai 8 gelas sehari. So ini adalah salah satu cadangan. Boleh ikut waktu mengikut sahur, masa berbuka, di antara tarawih dan juga sebelum tidur dan juga waktu isyak. So kalau 1 gelas adalah bersamaan 250 ml dan kalau boleh kita minum 8 gelas sehari supaya kita dapat kekal hydrate. So berapa hari lagi menjelang Syawal, macam-macam persiapan kita telah buat dan akan buat dan masing-masing tidak sabar untuk balik kampung untuk berjumpa dengan saudara-saudara, keluarga, ibu ayah, datuk nenek semua. So ini adalah piramid makanan Malaysia 2020. So kita kena jaga pengambilan makanan harian kita kalau boleh mengikut piramid makanan Malaysia. Di aras paling bawah menunjukkan buah-buahan dan sayur-sayuran. Buah-buahan adalah 2 sajian sehari. Manakala sayur-sayuran 3 sajian, lebih 3 sajian sehari. So kalau buah, sebiji pisang, sepotong betik, sepotong tembikar. Manakala untuk sayur, boleh ambil 1 cawan sayur. So ini adalah sebanyak 3 sajian sehari untuk sayur, buah 2 sajian. So aras kedua adalah sumber karbohidrat di mana saya akan terangkan sekejap lagi. Dan ini adalah sumber protein di mana ikan 1 sajian sehari, ayam, telur, daging 1 hingga 2 sajian. Okay. Susu dan produk susu, kalau boleh kita ambil 2 sajian, sama ada 2 gelas susu, sama ada sumber lain, keju, yogurt, dan pastikan hadkan pengambilan lemak, minyak, gula dan garam. Okay. So ini adalah pinggan sihat. So saya rasa ramai orang tahu pasal pinggan sihat ini. 4 item wajib dalam pinggan adalah sumber protein. Okay. Sama ada ikan, ayam, daging, kacang, dan 1/4 lagi sumber karbohidrat, nasi, mi, roti, bijirin, produk bijirin dan ubi. Dan buah dan sayur hendaklah separuh daripada pinggan. So pinggan
Dr. Wan, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
So this is the suku separuh. That means it's like quarter half, yeah? So it's the quarter half. So you're talking about the protein, the grains, and then the vegetables, yeah? Okay.
Okay. So we can use our hands, tangan sebagai panduan. So kalau protein ni kita boleh gunakan saiz tapak tangan. Sebab kadang-kadang kita susah nak ukur daripada segi kotak mancis ke apa. So we can just use our hand because our hand is always next to our body, right? So protein tu boleh saiz tapak tangan kita. Dan buah-buah dan sayur sebanyak saiz cukup, secukup. Karbohidrat adalah saiz genggaman. So ini adalah contoh sajian bijirin dan produk bijirin serta ubi-ubian adalah sumber karbohidrat kita. So sama ada sajian karbohidrat adalah 3 hingga 5 sajian sehari. Kalau untuk mereka yang kurang aktif atau tidak bersenam, anda hanya boleh mengambil sebanyak 3 sajian karbohidrat sehari. Tapi kalau anda yang jenis aktif, bersenam, kebanyakan hari dalam seminggu, anda boleh tingkatkan anda punya sajian kepada 5 sajian sehari. Okay? So 1 sajian adalah sama dengan 1 keping capati, 6 keping krim cracker, 2 sendok nasi, 2 keping roti, 1 cawan nasi, 1 cawan bijirin, 1,5 cawan bihun yang telah direndam. 2 biji ubi kentang size small, okay, 2 cawan bubur nasi atau 1 cawan mi. So kita boleh agihkan kita punya sajian. Kalau anda hanya perlu ambil 3 sajian, jika anda tidak berapa aktif ya, tidak bersenam setiap hari ataupun 3 kali seminggu, anda boleh ambil 1 keping capati pagi, tengah hari mungkin boleh ambil 1 cawan nasi dan satu lagi malam mungkin 1 cawan mi atau tidak. 1 cawan mi ataupun ikutlah sajian yang lain. Tapi kalau anda jenis aktif, anda boleh ambil sampai 5 sajian sehari. So 1 keping capati ke, 2 sendok nasi dan lebih. Mungkin boleh tingkatkan 4 keping roti adalah bersamaan dengan 2 sajian. Okey. So apakah betul untuk membantu amazing seniors kita dari segi pemakanan? So bukan saja kita tengok label daripada segi makanan itu untuk tengok tanda halal, tanda luput. Kita perlu juga tengok dari segi senarai kandungan makanan iaitu nutrisi. So pastikan kita tidak ambil makanan yang tiada zat ataupun kalori seperti makanan ringan dan soda. Okay, so gunakan konsep suku-suku separuh, the quarter plate rule atau sajian saiz makanan. Makan perlahan dan makan sikit demi sikit untuk membantu proses pencernaan. Okay? Minum air secukupnya. Air secukupnya adalah sangat penting. Makan bersama teman untuk membantu kita makan secara tetap dan teratur. Tapi bukan makan dengan teman supaya kita bertambah. Saya ada pesakit kita, dia cakap, sebab saya tengok dia gula tinggi, lepas tu tanya makan apa, dia kata, sorry lah doktor, anak saya balik, so saya makan dengan lebih banyak sebab berselera anak balik ya. Dia kata, oh tak boleh macam tu, cik kenalah jaga makan juga walaupun anak dah balik. So makan secara dengan makan dengan seimbang ya. Elakkan makanan tiada zat, makanan, okay. Ambil vitamin dan mineral yang disyorkan oleh doktor seperti kalsium, vitamin D dan iron.
So I think that was a very important slide,
Yeah.
Dr. Wan. So these are perfect nutrition tips that all of us should have. First of all, we need to really read up the label on the foods that we buy. Am I right?
Yes.
To know what we are eating. We need to use the suku separuh, the quarter half concept to eating. And you're talking about just now about using the hand as a way of measuring what you should eat, and like the palm of your hand measures the amount of protein intake. This one is for the vegetables that you consume, and carbohydrate should be only about this bit.
Yes, the fist, your size of your fist.
The size of a fist. So if we could go back to that slide, you're also recommending the next slide, recommending that we should all eat slower so that it improves digestion. Definitely drink a lot of water.
Yes.
And we should be very disciplined in the way we eat lah. And
it's very hard, it's very hard, but somehow you have to train yourself.
Yeah, especially when you look at me, it's very, very hard. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. But I think we need to eat in moderation. Doesn't matter whether we are celebrating what today and what tomorrow, but moderation is still important. Am I right?
Yes, moderation. Yes.
Yeah, and we need to take on the vitamins and the minerals, the supplements as our doctors advise lah, especially when it comes to the calcium, vitamin D, and iron.
Yes, correct.
Very good, Dr. Wan. Thank you. Next, you can go on. Thank you.
Okay, so jika sebelum ini sebab tempoh MCO dalam 2 tahun anda telah terlepas rawatan susulan, terlepas temujanji doktor dan juga sudah lama tidak ambil ubat-ubatan, dinasihatkan anda pergi dapatkan konsultasi anda dengan doktor anda. So supaya doktor boleh review balik apa ubat-ubatan yang telah anda tidak makan dan juga boleh buat rawatan susulan. So jika sebelum ini anda tidak pernah mendapatkan pemeriksaan kesihatan anda, jumpa doktor anda. Boleh datang ke KPJ SCC Kenara, jumpa Family Medicine Specialist, jumpa saya untuk dapatkan nasihat kesihatan ya. So kita boleh cek sama ada tekanan darah, pemeriksaan badan, pemeriksaan darah dan mengikut kumpulan individu dan juga order any investigations that are relevant to you.
So health checkups, are very important because especially over the MCO, many of us have not gone for proper health checkups. So I think it's about time for us to go back to get all tested out.
So it's advisable for the patients not to default their follow-ups. So of course, eye checkup and also dental care is very important as well. Okay, so booster, okay. The booster dose, Dr. Priya already mentioned, okay, about the second dose booster. Okay, so how about exercise? Okay, so if our amazing seniors have been doing the exercise, congratulations. Okay, because as exercise can improve every physical health outcome. Okay, it can maintain the strength and mobility and improve the mood. Okay, even experts has mentioned that physical exercise is important at any age, but it becomes even essential as we grow older. Okay, so if you have been not doing exercise, maybe you can consult your family medicine specialist, your doctor. If you have any problem with your heart, you have previous history of injury, or you have previously had your recent history of operation, and you have problems to join, maybe you can consult your specialist.
Cái mà trước cái bọng xích kìa.
Okay. Okay, so you can start some.
Sorry, Dr. Wan, if you all could just mute yourselves. I will try and mute it from our side. It's okay. Dr. Wan, please go on. Thank you.
Okay, so if you have not been starting exercise, so maybe you can consult your family medicine specialist or any doctors, so that you know what are the types of exercise that you can do. You just have to start small, then nothing at all. Better to do a little bit of every day. Find something that you keep on doing and something you enjoy. Okay, so such as walking. So walking 10,000 steps are beneficial to improve your cardiovascular health. Okay, so but if you have problems with the joints, you can lower the counts. Not 10,000 steps, but maybe you can lower the counts, the steps according to yourself. Because we do not want, if you start exercising, you injure yourself, you hurt yourself, and then you become demotivated, not wanting to exercise anymore. Okay, so otherwise you can join classes or structured courses so that you have someone, a personal trainer, your teacher to guide you. Because the teacher, if you join classes, they can correct your alignment, your posture, and your movement, because you do not want yourself to get injured if you do something that you are not familiar with. So a good type of exercise, it incorporates strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility. Because when we age, we are high risk of getting fall. So these are the types of exercise: the strength, endurance, balance, flexibility, so that we are the one that we can prevent from fall. Okay. So experts has already recommended that a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise 3 to 5 times a week are beneficial. Okay. So what are the types of exercise which are beneficial, appropriate for seniors? Okay. So every day when I go out from work, I can see my neighbor. She's going to the next door house to do yoga. So by doing in a group, it will give her motivation to start exercising, because it will keep her moving. Okay, I also can see that my neighborhood, the community, they walk around during the evening, in the morning, and also cycling. Even I can see the senior cycling, they cycle even faster than the younger generations. Okay, so these are the types of exercise which are appropriate for seniors. The water aerobics, exercising in water, it put less stress on the joints, which is beneficial for those with arthritis or having joint pain. Plus, the natural resistance of the water, it improves the balance, the strength, and the flexibility. And also the buoyancy in the water, it reduces the weight bearing. So otherwise, you do not have a class to join, so it's hard for us to find water aerobics classes. You can just wait inside the pool, just walk inside the pool as long as it keep on moving. Okay, body weight exercise, it helps to improve muscle atrophy. And if you use resistance band workouts, it can strengthen your core for better flexibility and balance. So I advise for you to, if you want to join this class, you have to join with in a class so that someone, a proper teacher, can teach. Okay. Other type of low impact exercise which is suitable for seniors are Pilates and chair yoga. So this has been proven to improve flexibility, balance, mobility, and strength. So start somewhere. It's never too late. Exercise, because it can improve, it can give a lot of benefits to yourself. Okay. Okay, so kita telah masuk ke fasa endemik, di mana masjid surau telah dibuka dan umat Islam boleh mengerjakan tarawih secara berjemaah. So solat tarawih ini boleh dianggap satu bentuk sinaman ringan yang melibatkan pergerakan hampir ke semua sendi badan. So kita pergi masjid, kita pergi surau, boleh walking jauh-jauh sikit, ataupun kalau tak bawa kereta, boleh jalan pergi ulang alik. So mungkin anda boleh dapat 10,000 steps a day jika anda pergi solat 5 waktu sehari. Ya. So dan juga pesanan kesihatan, Kalau kita menghadiri aktiviti di masjid dan surau, pastikan anda sentiasa pakai pelitup muka ya. Pastikan anda tidak bergejala kalau pergi ke masjid atau surau. Sebab kita tidak mahu menyebabkan mendedahkan penyakit kita pada orang lain ya. Dan bawa sejadah masing-masing dan juga elakkan bersalaman, berpelukan atau sebarang sentuhan fizikal. Okay. So there's a lot of ways. So the third way is avoid chronic stress. Okay. Everyone faces various degrees of stress in their life. Stress is part of life. What is important for us is how we manage the stress. Stress can be very overwhelming and harmful to mental health and physical. It can give you anxiety, depression, and cause physical disability. And you get yourself at once upon a time. Okay, if you have stress, if you can't handle it, you have to see a doctor. You have to share your problems with someone you trust and confide to, because we cannot handle the stress alone, but you have to share with someone else. Okay, but if it does not helps you, you can see your counselors, your family medicine specialists, your psychiatrists, and psychologists as well. Okay. So what are the fun ways to stimulate our mind and maintain good mental health as you age? Okay, besides reading, writing, maybe reading, writing, hafaz Quran ke, zikir ke apa, maybe you can teach the younger generation what are your skills. You can teach reading Quran. Okay, so you can also learn a new language or new skill that you have been wanting to learn previously when you were younger, but you don't have time, right? Okay, so you can involve yourself with NGOs so that you can improve socialization, interact with other people. You can also play games or do crossword puzzles with your grandchildren, okay? Because these are the ones that can improve socialization, interaction, keeps our memory sharp, delays cognitive decline, and also fun source of physical activity, and also reduce stress and creates happiness and give happy hormones. Okay. So from a Harvard study on adult development, where they follow hundreds of people from birth until they reach 70 plus, okay, from this study, the clearest message is good relationship keeps us happier and healthier. The biggest predictor of your happiness and fulfillment overall in life is basically love. Okay, the study demonstrates that having someone to rely on helps your nervous system to calm, to relax. It helps your brain stay healthier for longer and reduce both emotional and also physical pain. And also from the study, it clearly stated that those who feel lonely are more likely to see their physical health decline earlier and die younger. But being single or living alone doesn't mean you are isolated, okay? Because there are many avenues for us to socialize. Such you can meet your old friends, you can meet your neighbors, and also involve in the communities and so on. Okay, so ini adalah tips penjagaan kesihatan mental. Okay, sentiasa tersenyum. Mulakan senyuman anda di pagi hari. Senyum boleh menceriakan hidup anda dan of course orang sekeliling kita, kerana ia adalah satu sedekah ya. So senyum boleh mengurangkan kedutan di muka kerana kita menggunakan 17 otot muka sahaja berbanding 43 otot jika kita menggunakan dahi. Okay. Libatkan diri dengan hobi atau aktiviti yang disukai dan bermanfaat. Hubungi orang tersayang. Maksudnya dari segi panggilan telefon, video, supaya we are always stay connected with other people. Okay, supaya kita tidak rasa keseorangan. Pilih pemakanan secara sihat yang telah saya bagi tahu sebentar tadi. Okay, dan jika anda ada masalah, kongsi perasaan dan masalah dengan seseorang yang dipercayai. Okay. Kekal positif. Hargai perkara setiap situasi sentiasa yang dialami. So we have to always be positive. Although it's very hard, but you have to be positive. Lakukan senaman supaya it can boleh keluarkan hormon endorfin. Hormon endorfin ni happy hormones supaya kita akan tingkatkan mood gembira. Elakkan berfikiran negatif dengan berita COVID-19 yang tidak berkesudahan atau yang tidak pasti. Sebagai contoh juga sekarang berlaku perang dan juga politik, kita mesti ambil tahu. Saya akui kita mesti ambil tahu dengan apa yang berlaku di dunia kita, tapi kalau boleh tidak mahu sampai ia mengganggu emosi dan terbawa-bawa ya. So kita kena ada tahap di mana kita perlu ada barrier, ada macam kita kena elakkan berfikiran negatif. Okay? Amalkan teknik pernafasan dalam dan relax jika anda merasa stres. So anda boleh tarik nafas dalam-dalam 5 hingga 7 saat dan anda tahan dan hembus perlahan-lahan. So anda boleh ulangi teknik pernafasan dalam secara berulang kali sehingga anda rasa relax. Itu adalah salah satu tips penjagaan kesihatan mental.
I think this is a very, very good pointers for tips to taking care of our mental health. Am I right? So we have to always practice smiling. We have to think positive in all situations, in all times. We need to still stay connected with friends, with people, loved ones, with the family. Stay connected, and to be in constant conversation with people. And we need to exercise. We need to stay positive under all circumstances, no matter what situation we are looking at. Whether it's a not so good situation, we still must stay positive because it helps with our mental health. And definitely, there is an advice here for us to practice. I think practice breathing exercises. Yeah, so there are a lot of these great tips on breathing exercises online, which we will also share on our Amazing Seniors Facebook as well. And we'll actually help you guys with it. And we definitely need to have a good quality sleep.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wan.
Okay, I'll go to my next slide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to have enough sleep. Okay, so as we age, our sleep become lighter and more fragmented. Okay, and so a lot of people tend to have a little less sleep comparing when they were younger. But however, if we keep waking up not feeling fresh, it means that something is wrong with our sleep. Because if we have sleep deprivation, the symptoms, so it can cause us to feel lethargic, mood change, difficulty in concentrating, we have more memory problems and also attention problems. It can increase risk of cardiovascular disease, also induce diabetes and also problems with the weight. It can also cause depression, anxiety, and also can reduce our immunity. So it's important for us to have enough sleep. So if any one of you have problems with sleep and when you wake up, you don't feel fresh, you have to get yourself properly evaluated and to get treated. Okay, so these are the helpful sleeping tips for seniors, for our amazing seniors. We call it sleep hygiene. So ensure your bedroom is quiet and cool, dark and comfortable. You can keep your optimal temperature in the room, 18 to 24 degrees. It's up to you, whichever you want to feel cold or a bit warm. Okay. Don't watch TV or read from backlit device at night by reading from your smartphone. Okay, maybe you can just watch your TV before half an hour before your sleeping time. Okay, keep a consistent sleep schedule. So you go same time to bed and you wake up same time at to bed. Okay, so avoid large meals before bed and practice some relaxing bedtime rituals. You can take a bath. Okay, because not only the water is relaxing to our body, but also a drop of body temperature, it will cool down and it will make you sleepy. You can also listen to quiet music, any music that you like, classical music, or even you can read books before you go to sleep or read Quran. Some meditations, of course, any meditations or zikir before you go to sleep. You can also perform gentle stretches that can help for you to sleep better. Minimize liquid intake before bed because we do not want you to wake up, disturbed from sleep, wake up to go to the loo, and limit caffeine and alcohol intake. Okay, because it can cause you dehydrated also for the caffeine and also it can keep you awake. So other options of caffeine, you can take like milk, green tea, decaffeinated options, and also maybe hot chocolate. It's up to you. Avoid using sleeping pills because if you use too much of sleeping pills over a prolonged period of time, you can get tolerance. You don't get the effect of the pill so much comparing to before, and you become dependent to it. And if you stop the medication, the sleeping pills abruptly, it can cause you withdrawal, rebound insomnia. The insomnia is the problem with the sleep. Okay, so if you have been using sleeping pills, which makes you to be dependent, you have to see a doctor. So your doctor will advise it. So it helps to exercise during the evening so that you can feel tired and you can have a better sleep at night. Avoid long naps during the day. You can take your power nap, your siesta, your afternoon nap, okay? Just for you to feel refreshed, but not long naps. review medications, because some medications can have problems with your sleep, such you can wake up during the middle of the night to urinate, or you can have problems with medication. Get yourself checked and discuss with your doctor. So sometimes if your mattress is already too long, you have been using it, and you wake up from bed, you feel a bit of back pain, neck pain. So it might help, it might be a worthy investment for you to change to a good mattress. Okay, so the last way to improve health is, of course, don't smoke. So smoking is bad just about every aspect of physical health. It can damage every part of the body from top to toe. But fortunately, even after a senior has developed smoking-related health problems, by quitting smoking, it will reduce the symptoms and one's chance of a premature death. One study found that quitting smoking between the age of 55 to 64 years old, it added 4 years to one's life expectancy. We know that quitting smoking is very hard because of the presence of nicotine in the cigarette. It is physically and psychologically addictive. But only 3 to 6% of the people who try to quit on their own succeed. However, by combining medications and counseling, it can help to help quit smoking. The medications we can provide is a nicotine replacement therapy. It's either the gum or the patch. And also we have non-nicotine replacement therapy, which is the Champix. So by combining medication and counseling by a specialist, it can help to quit smoking and increase the chance of successfully quitting up to 30%. Of course, we know a lot of people try to quit a few times, but they fail at the past. But don't let the past failure stop us from quitting again, from trying to quit again. Okay, don't give up. And finally, of course, I think this slide Dr. Priya has already mentioned. So make sure, sebab kita nak balik kampung, lepas ni berjumpa sanak saudara, kita akan berjumpa dengan ramai kaum kerabat kita, berjumpa dengan ibu ayah, datuk nenek, kaum mak saudara, anak saudara semua. So pastikan kita sentiasa menjaga kebersihan tangan. Sentiasa bawa hand sanitizer. Pergi mana, pergi masjid, jumpa orang, pergi melawat, bawa hand sanitizer, letak dalam handbag, letak dalam poket. Okay? Kalau kita bergejala, lakukan penilaian TRIS seperti yang telah diberitahu oleh Dr. Priya sebelum ini. Ya. Elakkan di tempat yang sesak dan sentiasa kita pakai pelitup muka dan amalkan gaya hidup yang sihat. So ini adalah solidarity community. Selain mematuhi langkah-langkah pencegahan jangkitan COVID-19, kita hendaklah sentiasa mengingati satu sama lain. Kita punya keluarga, kita punya kawan-kawan untuk mengamalkan norma baharu dalam kehidupan. Kita hendak jaga golongan dan lindungi golongan berisiko tinggi, terutama ibu ayah, datuk nenek kita dan mereka yang berisiko tinggi dan ada komorbid. Dan pastikan mereka kalau mereka terlepas mengambil booster dose, nasihatkan mereka untuk mendapatkan booster dose dan juga untuk dos penggalak kedua yang KKM telah sarankan. Okey, kalau untuk ahli komuniti kita yang sedang diisolasi atau kuarantin, jangan ada stigma. Kita beri bantuan psikososial. Bukan saja dari segi bantuan makan dan minum dan peralatan harian untuk kita bekalkan, kita boleh hubungi mereka, tanya khabar mereka, bagi sokongan moral. Ini adalah penting sebab kadang-kadang orang yang diisolasi kuarantin ni dirasa macam stigma. So dia malu sebab kena COVID. Tapi sebenarnya kita tak boleh ada rasa perasaan stigma kepada mereka yang diisolasi atau kuarantin. Okay, itu adalah slide saya yang terakhir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wan. So now we'll move on to questions and to take on some questions and answers. Yeah. So let me just refer to the chat group. Dr. Wan, I'll read out some of the questions to you. Okay. One of them asked, is fasting beneficial for someone who is bordering on a little bit underweight? Is fasting still beneficial?
For a little bit of underweight?
Underweight, yeah. So if this person is a bit underweight, is fasting still beneficial?
Okay, first of all, I would like to ask, what is the reason the person wants to fast? Is it because of a religious requirement or is it because of health benefits?
If it's for health benefits, because it says, is it still beneficial? I mean,
okay. So if you are a bit of underweight, so you can just maintain by pemakanan seimbang. Just ikut makan seimbang. But if you want to fast, then it's okay. But maybe you can see whether your cholesterol level, your sugar level, how is it? Because fasting, it can help to reduce the blood pressure, reduce the sugar level, and also it can reduce your cholesterol level. Okay, so it depends on what are the purpose for you to fast. If it's underweight, it's okay, because a lot of people are fasting in Ramadan. They are underweight. They can fast normally, unless you have problems with yourself. You have disease, certain disease. We do not require to fast.
Okay. Is it true that the longer you fast, the more benefits you gain?
Okay, the longer fasting is not recommended for everyone, and because it's unnatural. Because when you enter into prolonged fasting, it causes starvation. Okay,
Starvation.
so once starvation happens, the body will, after the fat, the body will burns the protein. So if you burns the protein, it is not good. Okay, so
So
because
what is the ideal length of a fast? I mean, 24
okay.
hours, 48 hours ke?
Okay. So, based on the intermittent fasting, we have like 3 types. Okay, so this is evidence based. The first type is the TRE, the time restricted eating time, where you fast only about 13 hours. Okay, and then you have like another 8 hours you can eat at a time. So the cycle happens. You can repeat eating, and you can only eat in the length of time given, and then after that you fast. Yeah, you cannot fast prolong more than 14 hours because you will enter starvation state.
More than 14, is it? Do you say?
Yes, you can't.
So
more than
we
14
shouldn't
because,
fast more than 14 hours.
because
Okay.
our body needs to replenish the energy stores. Okay, so because we want to regenerate our cells, we want to replenish the stored energy.
Okay. Would you recommend the 168 intermittent fasting as an ongoing eating lifestyle? That means
Okay.
ongoing.
68 intermittent fasting. So
68.
it means 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours. So as the
As an ongoing lifestyle.
Okay.
That means like ongoing.
Okay. So the
Setiap
16-8
hari lah.
the 16-8 intermittent fasting, if it's done correctly, it is similar to Ramadan fasting because we fast like I think 13 hours. So it is among the best and effective techniques practiced even by many medical professionals that I've seen. So they do the 16-8.
Is it recommended for ongoing? That means tiap-tiap hari like that,
yes.
ongoing.
Yes.
So not just for 1 month, but just go on and
No,
on like that.
usually you can have the benefit because studies that I've seen, they go up to 8 weeks, and then you can have you can review your results, and then you can check your blood investigations. Okay. About the prolonged starvation, it is not recommended because it can cause drop in blood pressure, it can cause muscle weakness, and your body is not able to regenerate your body.
Regenerate,
Yes, regenerate.
Okay. Amanda asks, how safe is fasting for seniors?
Okay, for seniors, many seniors fast. For Muslims, most of the seniors fast, but there are exemptions for those who cannot fast. Okay, such as if the seniors they have diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, because there's no insulin and they need insulin from outside to inject. So it's not advisable to fast because they can get into hypo state and it is more harmful. It's more harmful. And even in our religious, it is exempted for certain people. For certain people, like pregnant people, pregnant mothers who have type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes on insulin, they are not advised to fast. For older people, if you are like healthy and you don't have any disease, it is safe for you to fast. Okay. But I can see like a lot of seniors with hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, heart problem, they fast normally and they are safe enough. But if you have problems with it, your doctors will always advise, because before the period of fasting, we doctors, we will advise which type of patients they can fast and which type of patients that cannot fast.
Okay. After fasting for 12 hours, right?
Okay.
Then when they start to eat and eating a lot and it's at night, does it build on belly fats?
Okay, yes, of course. Many people gain weight sometime after Ramadan because they do not comply with the makan nasi imbang separuh because of the overeating in buffet pasal Ramadan. But actually, it defeats the spiritual purpose, the health benefit. So actually, our religious requirement is we eat in moderation, not to overeat ourselves, because we want to take care of our health, and of course, we want to like take care of our health, and of course because of the religious benefit. So and also because during buka puasa, they tend to eat they tend to drink a lot of sweet drinks sebab nak benda yang manis lah. So yalah, kadang-kadang terliur kan. So kadang-kadang tu boleh lah, kalau boleh 1 gelas minuman manis dan lepas tu minum air masak saja.
So this so when you talk about the fasting period, right? Your 13 and 8 or 16/8 fast, after the fast you should still be eating in moderation. It's not like overeating and all lah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So that's why. So even if you eat later on at the end of the fast at night, as long as you eat in moderation, you will not like build up on belly fats and things like that lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
because it defeats the purpose. If you fast, you eat a lot, you take high sugar intake, you increase your calorie. Yeah, we do not want to gain weight over after Ramadan. We want to lose little bit of weight because nak sambut raya kan.
Yeah. Okay, one more question. This question, before sleeping, we seniors minimize water intake. But sometimes still need to wake up maybe once or twice to go to the toilet. Is that normal?
Okay, so if you have problems with this, okay, if you are male, maybe you have problems with the prostate. We call it benign prostate hypertrophy, where the symptoms are you have frequency, urgency, you have to go to wake up to the loo, to urine, or even like some of the symptoms are you cannot wait to pass urine. You have to go quickly to the toilet. Okay, so these are the symptoms of benign prostatic hypertrophy. So you can see a doctor, family medicine specialist, or your urologist to get yourself treated. They will do ultrasound. They will check. They will check yourself. Okay, and also they will perform ultrasound, and maybe they will do some investigations to check on you. So sometimes also medications it can help. It can give rise for you to wake up. Maybe once or twice to go to the toilet. So your doctor have to review what are the medications that cause you to go to the toilet. So maybe it's like diuretics that cause you to pass urine a lot after you take the medication. So it has to be taken during the day.
Okay. There's a question. Dr. Wan, macam mana nak approach ahli keluarga yang kita nampak macam stress ataupun depressed, tapi mereka seperti nak keep it to themselves, tak nak cerita. How do you approach? How do you approach the family member who seems to be stressed and depressed and they always keep to themselves? How do you approach them?
Okay, so orang yang ada stress ataupun dia dah masuk, kalau stress tak apa lagi.
Dr. Wan, there's an interruption. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so kalau seseorang itu masuk ke tahap fasa depresi, dia memang dah berpenyakit, okay? Dan dia mungkin tak ada insight untuk pergi jumpa doktor sebab dia memang dah mengalami masuk dalam fasa depresi. So kadang-kadang dia tidak realise dia ada masalah dalam diri. So kita mungkin dapatkan keluarga yang paling dekat dengan dia, nasihati dia untuk bawa jumpa doktor. Boleh jumpa FMS untuk kami treat untuk dapatkan depression, untuk rawat depression. So memang depression dia memang dia macam stigma juga. Macam kalau depression ni orang malu nak tahu, nak akui yang kita ada depression. Tapi kita boleh dapatkan ahli keluarga kita yang terdekat dengan seseorang yang kena depresi itu untuk dapatkan rawatan. Dia biasanya dia kena orang yang paling dekat dan bawa untuk jumpa doktor. So kadang-kadang ia akan menyebabkan pesakit itu akan lama-lama akan terbuka. Dan lepas rawatan depresi, okay, dengan 2 weeks after that, after taking medications for depression, the patient can improve, maybe up to 50%. Maybe up to 50%, and requirement of medications for depression is up to it can go up to 1 year, 2 years. It can go for lifelong. It depends on the stage of the depression.
So you're saying that if you see a depressed person, someone who is very depressed in your family and is really keeping to themselves, chances are the person is already facing mental health issues lah. So so the best way to deal with it is to get someone who's close to them, a close family member, to talk to them and take them to see some experts in the field. And you're saying that if they are on medication, if the experts put them on medication and all, they could actually recover between 2 weeks, 14 days, right?
Yeah.
And that recovery could be in fact up to 50%. And in fact, some of them may have to end up taking a lot more medication, longer, but it will improve.
Yes, it will improve because it's hard for them. Sometimes they are just macam masuk dalam gaung dah susah nak keluar. So we have to reach them, help them.
So it's like they're almost in a very depressive state. We just have to pull them out pull them out instead of getting them to do it themselves
They're also sensitive. It's also sensitive.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to open up. But maybe when they are comfortable with the closest family member, or even with your doctors, they will open up slowly by slowly.
Okay. All right. I think Dr. Wan, I think that was a very, very insightful session from you. I think we have just about I think our time has almost run out.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Wan, and for giving us so many tips today. So for those of you who want to know a little bit more,
thank you so much.
There's an echo again. Hang on, wait, hang on. Let me just turn off. Yeah, I think for those of you who have got any more questions, you can always WhatsApp our hotline. We can also put you in touch with Dr. Wan, or to the experts involved. And if you want to more information about the 2 talks that we had today, and also to find out more about the My Pesara, please contact us. Please use our hotline. Come Facebook us, Telegram us, Instagram us, do whatever you can to get in touch with us, and we will try and connect you with the right parties, or to give you the information, whatever we have on our hands. So thank you very much, Dr. Wan, once again. And now over to you, Kat.
Yes, hi. I'm back again. Thank you, Dr. Wan. Okay, now just a reminder ya, untuk peringatan anda semua, jangan lupa ya, lucky draw prizes. Okay, lucky draw prizes menanti mereka yang bertuah. Prizes dia 6 kiss hand sanitizer dari Rela Halal Skincare, 20 vouchers ya, dental scaling penskala gigi dari KPJ ACC, dan 6 Raya Baraka gift box ya. Okay, so make sure you isikan your details pada borang lucky draw dalam chat box in the link that kita dah bagi ya. Okay, so all winners also will be announced on our FB page. So please stay tuned and make sure you check your FB, kita punya FB page. Okay, untuk semua pemenang akan diumumkan di FB page kami. Okay, just a reminder again, as like what I have mentioned earlier, there are some other events that will be taking place, okay, such as the Amazing Raya Charity Cookout, iaitu pada 21 hari bulan Mei, 21 hari bulan Mei. So keep your time free for this. And pada bulan Oktober, sempena Hari Antarabangsa Warga Emas, jangan lupa to follow us on kita punya FB page untuk mengetahui acara-acara tersebut what is going to happen in this acara. Okay, so with that, I would like to end this session, okay, with a very big thank you to everyone that participated today. Ribuan terima kasih, thank you, sia-sia, and nandri to all sponsors and para pesara kita, and to all Muslims, stay safe and selamat berbuka puasa. Okay, take care, stay safe.